Guys, you know what it is. If it is Monday, it's Sipping on Sundays on a Monday. It is your man, Mr. Campbell. It is my little brother, big brother, North Jackson brother, Zoe Phillips in the house, man. We got a really big show for you, man. We got a lot of exciting things that's been going on, man. Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope you treated your mama right. You know what I'm saying? Treat your wife, if the mother, your children right, man. We got a lot of great things going on, man. I'm super excited, man. And again, we're going to talk about what my background is because we had to clean house on some folks. So don't make me have to pull up that clip because somebody, you got that J hat on your coat said it was your house, but we had to change the locks down there in Gulfport, Mississippi, my man. So how you doing? Let me tell y'all something real quick. And I'm talking about how Jackson is big and small. Zoe's mother is legendary, okay? And his aunt too, because they are Thelma and Louise at the post office in North Jackson. Oh, what is that? Is that
Northview?
Northview?
Yeah. Yeah.
And man, listen.
Go down left, you see this.
Man, let me tell you what's so funny. So my mother lived in Jackson, and I would go back and forth, and we were I had a lot of property. We had a lot of property. So I was in Jackson like for a good bit, especially right when Scotty started, which is right before, right COVID and before that, right? I was in and out there a lot. Especially COVID. I was in Jackson like every day because my mother was only there because of COVID. So I would go to the post office because what would happen is I would have product I would have to ship out, and I would go to the post office, and it'd be these two women that have been there forever. And now, so let me ask you a question. So your aunt has a son that moved to Atlanta. That's
he did. So I actually told this a while back. So my cousin, his name's Corlin Liddell.
Yep.
He actually won a Grammy last year. They went to LA. He won a Grammy last year for it was a gospel song he mixed with Lecrae and Erica Campbell.
Well, what's funny is when your aunt told me to move to Atlanta, I hooked him up with he had fresh got to Atlanta, and I hooked him up with some people. So, hey man, hopefully my hook connect. But I say this to say I would talk to Zoe's mother all the time, And the thing about it, man, I remember one day they were supposed to be able to go to lunch, but somebody didn't come to work. And him and his aunt, they were 38 hot because they was hungry. And I said, listen, what y'all want for eat for lunch? I got you. I got you. So I brought them lunch. And they always made sure my packages got out right, made sure everything was good, man. So I was always sending my packages out. So shout out to Zoe's mom and his aunt. Good people. So Zoe, okay, what is your mother's name and what is your aunt's name?
My mom's name is Janice Phillips and Bernice Liddell.
There you go.
And they work side by side. They're both retired now, though. But
side by side. That is it, man. So listen, man. I just want to shout that out, man. Just show how it's a small world and stuff like that, man, and everything. Hey, so let my boy. Hey, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is Sipping on Sunday respect. See, the Jags come in here and say, listen, what's up? Give a congratulate. Ain't trying to hate on nobody. See, that's what championships do. Championship people give what's due. You know what I'm saying? So, we had to do it. We had to do it. But so I'm going to listen. We're going to get to this because, I'm going to need time to talk about this softball. But I do have to say one thing, though. So, there's a people down there in Texas. They were on the west side. We try to tell people softball and just like football is the east side thing. It's east side. And they said, well, we win in the West, Mr. Campbell. We'll see y'all in the championship. You tell Zoe, blah, blah, this and blah, blah. Zoe, let me ask you a question. Who knocked that Prairie View out the tournament?
Man, look, Jay's up to my days up. You see it?
So I'm just saying, Prairie View, listen, you can't come to these tournaments and go 2 out. Like,
man, listen, we call them peer review around here.
You can't do it. So listen. I'm trying, because they say that this is a new era. You know what I'm saying? But some things don't change. So I'm just letting you know.
Oh, Steve. You know what? Hold on. I gotta do this.
Okay.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I gotta do this. I gotta shout my guy out, man. Look, I want to shout out Craig. I know he gonna tune in. He gonna watch. Craig, who's actually from Prairie View. Okay. Good dude. let me shout out Craig, man. Craig, I want all y'all to write this down. Craig, my guy, is actually starting a new clothing line, man. It's actually called Culture and Style. And y'all can actually check out the website right now, man. It's www.cultureandstyle.co/mobile. Again, that website is www. You can put in the chat, Steve. www.
So since you got drop that in the chat. Drop that in the chat.
www.cultureandstyle.co/mobile. Man, you're gonna have some dope merch. He's actually sent me something with Jackson State, man. Dope product, man. Mm-hmm. And does damn good work, bro. So I definitely told him I want to shout him out. He's gonna do a lot of things with all the schools within the SWAC. He's gonna have a lot more Prairie View merch. Obviously, he's a Prairie View alum, but does damn good work. So I wanted to definitely shout him out. Real good dude. And like I said, I'm gonna do some things on my own too, and we're gonna kind of collaborate, do some things, man. But definitely want to shout him out, man. Good dude down there at PV. And see, y'all think I hate PV. I think I don't.
Man, listen, we don't hate nobody over here, man. We don't hate nobody. We don't give people no nasty little nicknames. We don't do none of that, but we just good folks over here, man. So yeah, so hey, so go ahead and type that link.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that in.
Yeah, drop that link and everything. Let's get your boy on, man. Let's get him on. Let's see what he got. Let's sell some stuff. Let's get a discount code. Let's make us some money. Let's do all that, man. Cause we listen, man. We here to support people. Man. Listen, you got a business, man. Listen, if you got a business, holler at your boy, man. We'll feature your business. We'll talk about your business. We'll help you make some money. I ain't got no thing. Cause listen, I got some big things coming on. I'm gonna let y'all know maybe about 2-3 weeks. Cause I got some big things that's gonna happen for everybody's own. But when I'm just gonna hold it in, man. Just gonna hold it, man. But once again, this is Sippin' on Sundays. On a Monday, Off Script Network, the Rocky Metal Channel. You see, Rocky got his I got the frame on. I don't know how that came on here, but it's all good because it's Rocky.
Steve, I'm gonna have to text it to you because some odd reason it's not popular. There's something going on with my comment.
Okay, yeah, just text it to me.
So
yeah,
and I'll copy it to you now. You can put it in there.
Yeah, so just sent. So yeah, man. So shout out to all my folks, man. Shout out to my Southern folks. Shout out to my family for your shout out. Hey man, you know what? I'm going even, and I usually don't do this. Shout out to a Florida State guy. You know what? He represents FAMU. I have to watch out Florida State because I don't do that rattling nose thing. That ain't me. But I do respect them, Florida. Florida State. Shout out, hey man. Shout out to Glenn, always in the building, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, now Dukes, man. Hey, let me tell you something about Dukes, man. Dukes, they were like, hey, Mr. Count, Dukes be talking about you crazy on the mother show, but then Dukes come over and hang out. So Dukes, you all right, but that what Crook told on you about a couple of months ago, but that's okay though. But you my guy. I'm glad you're here. Hey man, listen, shout out to North Carolina A&T, man. Hey, shout out, you know what? And I meant to do this video. I'm gonna get to it because I was gonna give these kids awards. I was gonna have make our ancestor proud video. I saw those Aggies doing in the fine tradition of the Greensboro 4. They went to, I think, county commission. And they were like, hey, what's up with this voting? And they tried to kick them kids out. Them kids like, we ain't going nowhere. So shout out to them Aggies living up to their truth and dreams. Hey, man, shout out to my man, FAMU, Kendall Rozier. Man, we in the building, man, sipping on Sundays. Hey, hey, listen, Crook, I hate it, but at least Crook be telling you, hey, look, Dukes, listen, but you're all right, man. You're all right, man. Just don't be going on the mother channel talking about your boy, because folks going to come back and tell me, man. I'm just messing with you. But, hey, man, listen, here's something that happened that, once again, so the state of Mississippi had a part of. And one of the things was a place that really launched nationally in the career. So I'm going to pull this up because this really kind of hurt my heart when I saw this, though. And we're going to talk about it because, again, sometimes the business just changes. But here we go. The Circle City Classic is no longer. It is no longer, though. They are going to move, and the Circle City Classic has long been one of the signature events on HBCU football calendar. After more than 4 decades of Black college football in Indianapolis, the event is moving away from HBCU football altogether. The Indiana Black Expo announced this week that the 2026 edition of Circle City Classic will no longer feature a football game between HBCUs. Instead, the longtime club will host high school football and girls flag football games at Lucas Oil Stadium. The move marks the end of an era when the HBCU's earliest classics played annually in NFL Stadium. Since its launch in 1984, the Circle City Classic brought generations of Black alumni, marching bands, fraternities, sororities, and fans downtown Indianapolis. For years, the Circle City Classic stood alongside events, the Magic City Classic and Bayou Classic, as a destination for Black college fans. But unfortunately, attendance had dropped, and the last season matchup between Morgan State and Miles only drew 3,000 fans. So, the Circle City Classic was a crown jewel. And so I'm going to show you something that I think a lot of people do not know.
Man, I was going to tell you about you know who jump-started the Circle City Classic?
Don't step on the lead. Yes, I do, because that's what I'm about to don't step on the lead. Yeah, yes, I do. Hold on. I'm going to let you get there. But like I said, don't step on the lead. Hold on one second. So this is one here. And here we go. The first Circle City Classic was played with Mississippi Valley and Grambling Zone.
Yes, sir.
And that was Jerry Rice and Willie Totten's national coming out party.
It sure was.
The very first Circle City Classic, when people had kind of said, and let me tell y'all something to y'all young folks. See, this is before the internet. This is before anything social media. You had to kind of hear about stuff. Somebody called you and told you. And said, or you might have maybe Roscoe Nance. Shout out to Roscoe Nance.
Oh man, shout out! Oh, rest in peace, man. Roscoe Nance, man. Peace,
the greatest HBCU.
Oh man, right here out of Jacktown, work at the Clarion.
Right out of Jacktown. That will be the only way. And this was the game that was shown on TV, BET, and people got to see what people in Mississippi saw with Jerry Rice and Willie Totten, and they played Grambling. And Willie Totten, so I'm gonna try to pull this up because
they got close to that game. But the funny thing about that, why you showing it? So here's the thing: I want to make sure I say this too. The game was attended very well. Valley versus Grambling, and Grambling was, coming in with Eddie Robinson. Grambling having the lore as the Black Notre Dame at that particular time from the 70s. And Valley lost, you know what I'm saying? They lost Totten, they lost Rice, you lost all these great players. And so the thing was that, because the game was viewed so well, Steve, they brought Valley back the next year.
Well, hold on, but I'm gonna show you that because that's the thing. I got that too, and I'm gonna show you something else because. So here's the thing, I knew what was funny about this. I remember this very well. But I'm gonna show this. So Willie Totten, let's talk about what Willie did. Willie Totten went for 35 of 55, 545 yards, bro. That is insane. And I think, I believe Jerry had, they should have Jerry's stats. And I think he went for one.
There you go. He caught 8 passes, 474 yards, 2 touchdowns.
And this is when really people saw the Satellite Express and was just amazing. And that game, again, like you say, this is the G-Men, Grambling, national stage, always been on the stage. And Mississippi Valley, little old Mississippi Valley, the first team to come along with Grambling to play in the first Circle City Classic. But so here's the thing. They did so well. You know what they did? They ran them back, and they brought them against Tennessee State. But mind you, at this time, here was the thing. Let's see here. They ran them back against Tennessee State. Now, Jerry had graduated.
Yeah, but Todd was still there. I was wrong. Todd was still there.
And guess what? They put another 30,000 in the building. Another 40,000 in the building.
Yep.
As you can see, another 40,000.
And let me say, and at that time, it was the RCA Dome, and the RCA Dome had a capacity of 60,000.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And let's see how many. Well, let me see what did Willie do in this one. Let's see here.
They won that game 28-13.
28-13 again, and this was when Tennessee State was a power, when they were just whooping everybody. Let me see what did Willie have in this game. Let's see. And then shout out to Carl Bynum. Also went to the pros. People.
Oh man, and Ron Hill too. Ron Hill for Valley.
Hey, went to league. Hey man, and listen, that cat Renfro that played for Tennessee State was a beast. And then look like Todd had 21 to 43, 3 touchdowns. Only went for 251 in this game. Renfro went nuts for 350. And I think it was cool. Craig, what was it? Craig Renfro? think what was Renfro's first name? Because this is one of those Tennessee State legends. Let's see. Gilbert Renfro. And let me tell you something. And I think that year, I'm pretty sure we can just, this is a side note. I know they beat Jack State that year, one of those years. But here was the thing. And I looked
they beat us in 84. Mm-hmm. 84 and 83. Or 84, 85.
So here's all the teams just to really pull up, as Zoe was saying, and just to really talk about in the glory days of the Circle City Classic. And of course, there you see the first two games, Mississippi Valley, which won both of their first two games at the Circle City Classic. And then you know who had to go and bring up there, the Florida A&M rally. And man, listen, let me tell y'all young folks about Central State.
Man, listen, when Billy Joe was coaching over it, man, listen.
Billy Joe was the first one, that would get cats to drop down when cats was getting caught off the steam. Like, what's the guy that came after Jamel Holloway? Charles Thompson went to Central, and he was on these squads running that option. Of course, I was up here. This is my freshman year. FAMU and Jackson State, that 10-10 tie, brought Jackson State back, played Bethune-Cookman. Then, we just kind of see it. 93, Jackson State was back, lost to, and man, listen, that was a close game, 34-33. I remember this game right here, A&T and Southern. Southern was pissed off. I think something happened that lost this game. And again, I came up there, FAMU, and this was crazy. And again, just kind of looking
you can't gloss over that 95 game. That was the game against that was Steve McNair.
That's right. You're right. That's when and so let me tell you what the Circle City Classic did really well. Whoever was the big star at the time, they tried to get them up there. They tried to schedule that game to get them up there. And that's when you saw a lot of these guys, again, at the Circle City Classic, make a name for themselves. Again, I was up here. And then, of course, we lost to Grambling. Had to get FAMU and Jack State up there. I was at
Steve, we'd be remiss if we didn't say, that game was the pretty much an add-on to the Black Indianapolis Expo that they had at that time. And so
that they had every year. Absolutely.
They had every year. And so the game was meant to do well. And, that expo has kind of gone down, through the years, and so has the Classic. And it's a shame to see it go that way. Tennis is down in college football across the board. But again, at the peak of it, which is all throughout the 80s up until the end of the 90s, this was a well-played Classic that was attended really, really good. But Steve, the one thing that you see, though, that they did was at that time, kind of like what we talk about for home games, they were into building great matchups.
Great matchups.
And like we say, if you schedule a great matchup, people are gonna come out even today. But for some odd reason, we've kind of gone and gotten away from that. Because again, it's like, hey, we got Valley versus Grambling. Now, people may say, well, Valley playing Grambling now, but it's a distinct difference. This was, intentional. Jerry Rice versus Eddie Robinson, the style G-Man defense on a national platform. It hadn't been done at that time. And that game was viewed very, very, very well.
No, man, listen. If you got to go play the Circle City Classic, and I'm telling you, somebody who went to that game, and I will say this, what they did for the teams, now I don't know about the payouts back in the day, but I'm talking about far as the accommodations. When I say first class, it was first class, bro. It was first class. It was really, really nice, man. So, man, so shout out to the Circle City Classic, man. Once again, part of that great HBCU history. And, man, this is one of those things that, like Zoe said, things have changed. The business model has changed. A lot of people want to do Classic. But listen, man, I think what happens with the Classic, too, and you saw with Jackson State, man, you got to pay us. We just not coming to just drink, look, and have free tickets anymore. You have got to pay us. So, man, I just think that, one of those things that when you really look at it, I don't know if you'll ever see a standalone Classic that's not hubbed through a school, like, again, Florida Classic, Magic City Classic, the Bayou Classic, State Fair Classic, et cetera, et cetera. Unless it's hubbed like that. Because, again, and people go, and, Howard people in Morehouse. I mean, I don't know how many people they had at that Classic in New York, but I think they're running it back.
No, it was I do the Whitney Young Classic. It was I want to say like 32,000, 33,000, something like that.
So, hey, Verger, you talk about the game I was talking about? Is this the game I was talking about? Why Southern got screwed? Yeah, just let me know in the chat, because that's what I think I remember. And Southern got screwed that game. So yeah, man. So it's just one of those things that when you kind of look at it and stuff, that is very interesting. So man, listen. So gotta move on. So here's another thing that I saw, and I'm just gonna tell you, one of the most interesting things that happens is when schools are at odds with internally with be it the alumni association, or in this case with the foundation. South Carolina State, what are y'all doing? So we got South Carolina State got in a lawsuit, and the lawsuit talks about end zone and NIL allegations. Now this right here, man. I'm like, these boys is wilding out. So let's kind of talk about this, and shout out, and always give a great shout out to HBCU Game Day. Provide these articles that we can reference and things like that.
I'm just gonna say this. Read the article, but I'll say this, man. South Carolina State is a HBCU national champion, man. Blue blood program in all of HBCU football. Man, this ain't good.
No.
And what I mean by this not good, it's not good for the program.
No.
And for all the good that we'll have some people do, and I'm not speaking, I'm not from South Carolina, I'm not speaking for them, but still for all the good that you may have, some people, hearts can be good. My heart's in the right place of trying to, do the right thing, for our student athletes, man. You're gonna have somebody who's gonna do something wrong or go about it the wrong way. And I can't speak to that. I don't know all the inner workings of that, but I just know the fact that this headline is even out, this is not good for the program. And all I would say is, man, for the people who's doing the good work, fighting the good fight, doing the things to try to make things better for the student athletes as well as for the football program as a whole, man, just do it and go about it the right way. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can say, man. Don't sit here and sully or put smut on the image of this, great, proud football program.
Right.
I would hate that for any of our institutions. And I know some people mean well, but for all the good we try to do sometimes, Steve, you're going to have some people, that's at every institution, go about things the wrong way. And again, we talk about infighting. We're talking about literally a school or athletic program suing the foundation of the school, for these types of things. And it's not going to help, because if it's truly out there, it's going to be a turnoff in regards to, student athletes coming to South Carolina State. And they pretty much recruit mostly South Carolina athletes. You know what I'm saying? They stay in state a great bit.
Oh, big time.
And man, that's what they do. And you don't need this. This can't be good. It can't be good for morale or for the image. So I hope the fine folks that's there that really support the program, man, get this thing right like they need to, so they can come out and be successful like they intend on doing.
So let's get into the particulars of it. South Carolina State is facing a lawsuit from its foundation that includes two major athletic-related allegations for the HBCU: a proposed football stadium end zone facility, and later a request of $500,000. The complaint is much broader than athletics. It's centered on control of foundation assets, donor records, fundraising, and the relationship between the public HBCU and its independent charitable arm. This is the crazy thing. According to the lawsuit, the foundation alleges Conyers, which is the president of the school, wanted to use restricted foundation funds for football stadium project. It also claimed he later asked the foundation for $500,000 to support name, image, and likeness. Those allegations put athletics at the center of a larger question: who controls donor money once it's getting to South Carolina State? The foundation claimed the dispute escalated after it stopped monthly salary supplement payers to Conyers. According to the complaint, Conyers then began questioning foundation spending relating to its annual scholarship gala and tribute. The foundation alleges that it requested detailed information about foundation funds that went beyond what the existing memorandum of understanding required. The lawsuit says the request was made under the guise of accountability. The foundation claims Conyers wanted access to the information and money so he could repurpose the funds. Here comes the football allegation. Foundation says Conyers revealed during the alumni association meeting that he wanted to build an end zone facility at South Carolina State. Conyers allegedly wanted to approach donors connected to restricted foundation funds and asked them to remove those restrictions so the money could be used for football stadium. Bro, now here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you because I know about this intimately. Restricted funds are usually tied to donor intent. A donor may give money to a specific program, department, scholarship. Foundation argues that those funds cannot simply be redirected without proper approval and documentation. The lawsuit says such a move would take scholarship money away from South Carolina State students and claiming redirecting those funds would take revenue from the university. The NIS request. Now, this really blew my mind because your boy, I was like, man, Kanye sent the foundation a letter requesting $500,000 for security enhancement and another $500,000 for athletic purposes. The athletic money was described in the complaint as funds to support NIL. That's $1 million. Okay, let's be clear on that. The foundation said Kanye's asked to access a reserve account to fund those requests. It argues that MOU does not provide a way for the university to request money from the foundation reserve account. That matter because NIL caused major issue. This is just crazy. So here's the thing. Let me talk about this, about restricted funds. As you guys know, I raised money for FAMU, and you guys have seen me post and talk about my freshman class. So our class has an account with the foundation. So when you're raising money, it goes to the foundation because the money goes into a big pool, and they use that to invest money, and that's how you get your return on investment. So our money, on purpose, we restricted the funds because let's just say a president comes in that we don't like. We don't want our funds to be used maybe for something that we don't want to be used for. So what most organizations do, they have an account and they say restricted. So our particular funds, as an example, you can only use our funds for scholarships. You can't do anything else with that money we raise. So you have other people that have athletic things that go for the found, like when you guys watch the 220 Club, right? The 220 Club has a restricted account. Their account, well, let me say not restricted. Their account is for athletics, but they do other things. But you just can't take money from the 220 Club account and say, I'm going to go pay the light bill at FAMU.
Nope.
Can't do that. So the fact that the president is trying to take restricted funds and pay for things, and then $500,000 for NIL. Now, listen, I see your boys out. Listen, I think he like getting them national championships. And our boy, hey, man, listen, and that's my boy, Coach Chennis Berry, one game at a time. One game at a time. But, hey, don't get my boy Chennis mixed up in your mess, Coach and President, because Chennis running a good ship down there. And I know Chennis down there raising money, but I don't want you to get excited because you like coming to Atlanta and kicking it. And you say, hey, Coach, I'm going to get you $500,000 so you can be the Jackson States, the Prairie Views, and
by hook or crook, man.
Bruh, that is crazy. That is crazy. And see, man, and again, like you said, you're talking about HBCU national champion. And listen, and I don't know, a lot of people don't know, and this goes back, and we're going to get to this, why you got to have representation in Congress. Because South Carolina State had gotten a loan from the state. When your girl that was Indian girl that cosplays was the governor, and she was going to shut South Carolina State down. And Jim Clyburn came in with federal money and did, talk to them white folks from South Carolina, Clemson, said, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. So, man, they just got out of that. That was probably about 6 or 7 years ago now that I remember. So for this to sit back, but I'm going to tell you one thing, though. I want people to understand, and this is what's interesting. The foundation and alumni associations are formed and work at the pleasure of the school. So while you say you're independent, so is the alumni association. And we've seen alumni association, Bethune-Cookman, that have totally been disassembled and reformatted because there was an argument between the school and these organizations. Now, I'm not saying this is going to happen to South Carolina State, but just the fact that the president tried, and the president knows you can't use no restricted funds, man. I mean, this is just business 101 at a school. And the purpose is a valid one. Because listen what they said. We have these funds, and people, because one of the things that came out, people were talking about South Carolina State's graduation rate. Well, one of the things that they do with these scholarships is to help kids graduate to pay their balances.
Mm-hmm.
So for them, and this is the argument that we have, what should we do with our money? Because you can't split money twice. I always tell people, old folks, so you can't split money twice. If you pay for this, you pay for this. Can't pay for that. So this is the dilemma that we like. Jackson State, Southern, FAMU. When you raise money, do you raise money for the school or do you raise money for athletics? Our class, because we knew people that kids had gotten to the last semester and needed money, we were like, that's more important. Now, I believe athletics is very important. But if I had to pick, we had to pick one. So we use our funds to pay for kids' balances that need the money to graduate. Because to me, hey, man, you get a graduate, then you can come back and give some money to athletics. But let me get you out of there first. You know what I'm saying? So Let me get you out here.
Somebody tell Prez he is not Brett Favre.
Bruh, listen.
They will get you up out of there.
That listen, and again, and then what makes it look bad again. This is Stephen Gaither writing this. So again, I don't know if it's true, but when they say your boy got his little side check cut, all of a sudden he start cranking up. Come on, man. That come on, bro. What are we doing here?
That's my thing though, man. Like that's why I mentioned earlier. Like, you know, I understand for all the good that they've done, you know, rich football history and tradition there, man. You can't do some things like this and sully the image of the program. You know what I'm saying? You got to do things on the up and up. And, you know, especially coming from him, and he's the actual president of the school. And again, you can mean well, but you can tarnish all the good that you tried to intentionally do by doing this and tarnishing the image, man. It could really mess it up. So, guys, you just got to move better. Do better and move better.
Absolutely. Yeah, see? My nephew, hey, bro, yeah, you find out that hidden balance all of a sudden. You talking about, what you mean on $1,000, man? What you talking about? Hey, man, it has happened. Well, you know, great question, Emmett. Shout out to Emmett. Emmett always in the house, sipping on Sundays, on a Monday. Zoe Phillips, Mr. Campbell, Off Script Network, Rocky Mill Channel. Hey, man, that is very interesting where, you know, Coach and Coach Chin is buried because once again, I think this is one of those things that's like, no, wait a minute, don't put us in this. You know what I'm saying? You out here going renegade. Don't put us in it like we told you to do this and things like that. So I you know, again, and I've had the chance to meet Buddy Pugh. I know people, like I say, Coach Cole knows him very well. You're talking about a man of integrity and honor. That's Buddy Pugh. So I'm telling you right now, Buddy Pugh ain't gonna go to no president talk about what we need. Buddy Pugh's gonna raise that money himself. That's the thing, that the type of guy. Buddy
and Pugh. The law.
Yeah, you're right. You know, so that's the deal. So Zone, you know, this is that time when schedules come out. So one of the things people talk about, SWAC TV. Should we be on ESPN? Should we be on this? Well, HBCU Go has released their football schedule. And we're going to kind of see a couple of teams that we recognize on the schedule. And so I want you to kind of look at this and tell me what you think. So so this is HBCU Go. Let's make sure everybody can see that. This is the HBCU Go schedule. So coming out right out the box, North Carolina. Hey, man, listen, this matchup right here.
It's going to be a good game.
That's a good game right there, bro.
It'll be a good game to open the season, man.
That I really like. And listen, shout out to my boy, you know, Trey Oliver. Trey Oliver say, hey, man, y'all call me. We'll play you. Hey, we'll play. So Trey said, I will come down to Texas and play y'all. So he's going down to Houston. And Trey going to go down and recruit. And I'm just going to tell you something about Trey Oliver. Trey Oliver keeps a little notepad of every SWAC school he beats. And he going to remind you of it. So listen here, Texas Southern. Because I think Trey Oliver, and I could be wrong. I'm trying to think. They beat Alabama State. They beat us. They beat y'all in the Celebration Bowl. They beat some. I think they're like 6-7-0 last 7-8 games against the SWAC. And this is just me right off the top of my head, just count. So I'm trying to tell you, Texas Southern, better get ready because he takes that serious. Now, Hope Labor. Now, so okay. What is this? What is the Hope Labor Day Classic? It's
Hope Credit Union is the title sponsor for that game.
Okay, so this is at the Vet, right? Of course, against Edward Waters. This is what people was all upset about your schedule. So okay, but it's gonna be our HBCU Go. So Southern Heritage Classic. Y'all used to play in that against Tennessee State. They said, since y'all ain't coming back, Tennessee State ain't coming back, we're going to use Alcorn, Arkansas, Pine Bluff. So they're back at it on September 12th. And then you know what, right here. Make sure that September 19th, an old rivalry is renewed.
Hey, that's old school. That's old school HBCU ball right there.
Old school right here. Tennessee State, Florida A&M, September 19th. And then here come them Bulldogs that we just talked about against Bethune-Cookman. I'm assuming this game is at Bethune-Cookman. I guess the team's on the right of the home team, I would assume.
Yeah, they are.
Yep. All right. Then we move into October, Howard and Hampton, which again, the real HU, Truth and Service Classic. And then, hey, man, listen. I know they ain't going to put us on national TV to ruin, Andrew Body's last homecoming at Alabama State. Because last time we rolled up in there, we saw you join out and we beat you. So guess what? FAMU coming right up there, rolling up there. And let me tell you something. Coach Quinn Gray, this type of game, he circled this game. You're like, wait a minute, hold on now. What they doing here? But we know Alabama State, y'all wanted to get the people in there, so you brought FAMU. I got it. Alcorn. So Prairie View's homecoming. PV12 got that new field. They right there bragging about Zoe. So everybody gonna get to see it nice on TV.
Hey Steve, you kind of scrolled a little bit because I was about to say the darling of the SWAC only got one game on TV on HBCU Go.
Wait, well, see, okay. So first of all, that's the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, because you see who they looking at. Because I see 1, 2, 3, 4 of them came from the Rattlers. So let's understand. And the great words of the commissioner, Christmas in July when the Rattlers came to town. Now,
I'm just saying, you would like to think that the conference champion would be, a lightning rod.
That darling. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, you would like to think that, the conference champion would be a lightning rod the following season, to really have a lot of games on television. Because I remember, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if we go back year to year, in 2021, Jack State won the SWAC. The following year, we had about 8 or 9 games on TV. Right. We won in 2022. We came back. We had about 8 or 9 games on TV. 2023, when FAMU won it, they came back. They had a lot of games on TV. FAMU's on here 4 or 5 times now. You know what I'm saying?
Hey Rocky, listen. Okay, I don't know, but I'm gonna make a Rocky, because you my guy. Hey man, shout out to Rocky Miller. His daughter graduated from Prairie View, man.
Congratulations to Rocky's daughter, man.
And Rocky now has to listen to her explain to him why it's great to be an HBCU alum. So
I got a question. You said they're gonna have a lot of games, so you think?
Wait.
Oh, Steve, I do what I'm gonna ask. So you think? I don't know. I hadn't seen ESPN schedule.
Let me ask my question. Let me ask my question. Go time to your question. So I want you guys to understand how the games are selected on TV. The first right of refusal is ESPN.
Yes.
The second right of refusal is HBCU Go.
Yes.
The third right of refusal is SWAC TV. So the question is, are you gonna have more games on SWAC TV or ESPN? I'm gonna make a bet with you, Rocky, that them games on SWAC TV.
You took my thunder, Steve. Because I was about to ask Rocky, do you think PV gonna have a lot of games on ESPN? So the conference champion, they gonna carry the flag on ESPN. Do you think that's what it is? Because I can assure you, I'll be willing to place a little wager, Rocky and everybody else. I think Jack still probably have more ESPN games than the conference champion.
Oh, I like that bet too. I like that, and I like my bet. I like my bet that they're gonna be. Hey, listen, they're going to be the darlings on SWAC TV. And hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with that, because everybody has a place. So again, if you want to just listen to what Zoe's saying, okay, Jack State can hold down ESPN, and you gonna hold down HBCU Go, and Prairie you can hold down SWAC TV. You can hold it down.
Hey, Rocky. It look good when you type it. I ain't gonna say it though, but it look good when you type it.
He said ESPN got okay. Well, I would tell you something. Because this is gonna. We probably can. You know what?
Hey, Rocky, do me a favor. Type what data they have. Just put that in the comment. What data do they have?
Darling. He said JSU. So listen, but listen,
the darling of the SWAC.
But hey, listen, there's nothing wrong, because you know what? Hey, listen. First of all, we're fans of SWAC TV. Shout out to Charles McClellan. Hey, Dr. McClellan, man, you from Jackson, bro. You need to come on this show, man. Let's talk some Jackson stuff. We don't want to hear nothing about who you don't like, man. We from Jackson. We need to talk that North Jackson. So listen, because I know you're listening. I know that for a fact. Come on, boys, man.
Don't say it now. That's Dr. Charles McClellan from that North. Look, from that North Jackson.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Listen, don't play that with me, bro.
Callaway along. Callaway along, dog.
Come on, man. Look what he said. PB go, yeah, they're gonna hold it down. PB gonna hold it down, SWAC. And listen, man. And we need people hold down SWAC TV. Now, Southern, we gotta figure out what's going on with y'all. Y'all a big brand too now. But let's get on back to this. So we got FAMU, they homecoming, PV, they homecoming. Or see where they go PV for their homecoming. You know what I'm saying? So I want, we're gonna see what that crowd look like. That's a 17-24. And then you know what? One of my favorite teams in the SWAC. And you know what? So let me just talk. Let me make this real big right here. This one right here. Let let me make this because I don't know if you know, I ride my bike like I'm a bike rider, and I ride like 15, 20 miles, and I ride my bike, I go to the gym every Monday. I ride my bike, so of course, on that Escalade, I got that big FAMU tag on the back. I had rolled my 10 miles, and this guy comes up to me. You a rattler? I said, yeah. I'm a Jaguar, but y'all always beat us. I said, when we just beat you in softball. He said, I just heard that too. Damn. And kept on walking. Just kept on walking. So even in Atlanta, y'all know that we be whooping on y'all, boy. Listen. So we like that y'all come on, because let me tell you something. We already count this as a W. You know what I'm saying? So bring your band. We want the jukebox there. Shout out to the jukebox. And matter of fact, you know what I think they should do? I think FAMU or Southern, some kind of way. I know this is not protocol. I ain't no band guy. Y'all should do like a Michael tribute together. You know what I'm saying? But both of y'all were part of that Michael thing. Y'all should do a Michael thing together, and then y'all can talk trash after that. But I think y'all should do that. But I just wanted to say that, man, even your people in Atlanta know when they see them rattlers, y'all just go the other way, boy. Golly, he went the other way, Zoe. Come on, man. He went the other way. So then we got that. But then, hey, man, listen.
But look, you have some good games going into it on HBCU Go.
That's what I'm about to say, man. These games are really good games. Hey, man, they go to Jack State Tigers against Mississippi Valley. Shout out to T-Buck. We're going to T-Buck on. We're going to have T-Buck on Sippin on Sundays. Talk that thing down there.
You got Southern versus Alcorn
hey,
down
man,
the club.
Listen. Zoe, listen. This game right here, this Alcorn Southern game, Alcorn needs to win this game for a whole lot of reasons.
Southern needs to win the game.
well, I'm gonna say this. When is Southern's homecoming? Y'all put that in the chat. This ain't Southern's homecoming, is it?
I don't believe so. I think for Southern, I think this is actually senior day, because Southern and Grambling both have 2 weeks on a bye week for head to the Bayou Classic.
Okay. So yeah, so that's a big game. You know what I mean? You finally got your boy in the Southern gear. You know what I'm saying? Big game. GNLBR and J Max. Shout out to them boys. Swacking the food. Those are guys too. And
so
then,
October 3rd.
And then the last game, man. Texas Southern, Arkansas Pine Bluff. Ooh. We'll see what's going on with Pine Bluff. The coach is still there. It's still like, okay, shout out there. October 3rd against UAPB. Okay, that's smart. Y'all make sure y'all can get a W on that. I like that. So yeah, man. So hey man, shout out to HBCU Go, man. Because again, just love what HBCU Go does. Love everything. The production is well done. I hope, but again, it's business. But we talked to Curtis Simons about this on the HBCU Coaches Corner. I would love for the SWAC TV to really just get with HBCU Go and say, hey, listen, produce all our games.
Man, listen.
Produce all our games.
Bruh.
I just think that will be the next level. Now, I understand there's money involved and things like that. And again, SWAC TV is going in the right direction. But if nothing else, let them consult so we can just have a baseline, because what we want with SWAC TV, and I think everybody wants this, every game needs to have a consistent look. Yep. Every game needs to have a consistent look. So that is the big thing that I really talked about. We talked to Curtis Simon. He said, man, that's a discussion they have had. So, we'll see what happens with that. And man, you know what? So I'm getting old. What's my guy from BET? Man was on the radio station my day. What's Charlie Neal?
Oh man, the legend.
The legend. And I think I told you guys that my father and Charlie Neal worked together in DC.
Yeah.
And man, and to see Charlie Neal, because I saw him at the Celebration Bowl when Jack State played, as a matter of fact, took a great picture with him and stuff like that. Asked me, about my mother, appreciate him asking about my mother. But man, to have the legendary Charlie Neal call these games.
Man, that's a cool cat too, bro. I chopped it up with him SWAC Media Day, man. I'm talking about man, he's still sharp, man. Got it. Man, hadn't lost a step, man. I mean, got the voice. He got an R about him too, man. But he's the living legend, man. Charlie Neal.
Man. The living legend. So man, hey man, I'm super excited, man. I guess we'll have to go back and close to the football season. We'll see what ESPN, but they've released this. I wanted to talk about these games and stuff like that. And what ESPN, because what's curious, because I think you could correct me if I'm wrong. I know us and you guys over the last 3 years, I think every game has been televised somewhere.
Yep.
I think we're the only two schools. I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, but I know for the last 3 years. I'm just talking about 3 years now. I don't know what happened, but I know for the last 3 years, FAMU and Jack State, every game they've been shown, which is great. And again, with SWAC TV, you get to see all the other schools. Because again, I've watched a lot of. Because I tell you this was so me on SWAC TV. When Prairie View and that Texas Southern game, that was a great game. And 99% of the time, we would have never saw that game. Because that game is independent or whatever, something they be doing with that or whatever. We don't get to see that game. But the fact that it was on SWAC TV and we got to see it, man, that was a big deal. And that's where you kind of saw that the T-Jack movement started right there.
Well, the past 2 years, every single game Jack State's played has been on TV. Yeah. The past 2 years, every single game. So that's the beautiful thing about the advent of SWAC TV. It'll assure more games, but just on the national scale, Jack State had every game the past 2 years on TV.
Well, Zoe, once again, the man says he gonna come fix college football. The man doesn't release the plans, though. The man says he's gonna get y'all together because y'all black athletes is getting too much money. Mm-hmm. You move it around. You think you run things, and the man said, "Well, enough is enough." So guess what? Even though gas $5, eggs are high, we're at war. They said we're going to help y'all with college football. The White House early ideas for college sports reform.
Go
ahead.
No, I was going to just say I'm going to let you go through it, but I don't want us to miss the point that only thing that is changing. There's no changes to college baseball. It's perfectly fine the way it is. There's no change to women's basketball. There's no change to gymnastics. You know, some people say, well, those are not, doesn't matter. None of the sports, there are no changes. They're perfect as is. But, you know, yes, I'm going to take it there because, Steve, guess what? Ain't a whole lot of black people monetizing our baseball in college or athletes, period. Right. You got women getting paid, and the women in gymnastics, some of them are getting paid on NIL very, very
big
handsome.
Money. Big
you
money.
got you got gymnastics, you got, man, there are some women softball players making bank. But the only time we need change is the sports where the money is big and players are prevalent. It's only two sports. It's only two. Men's basketball and football. Coincidentally, it's heavy populated and played by black people, monetizing and making great revenue off of it. But everything else, man, look, like somebody put lacrosse. There's no changes to lacrosse, no change to gymnastics, no other sport, bro. Nothing else. Everything is perfectly fine as is.
Well, the white man, listen, and I'm gonna tell you, he said he's doing this to keep these sports. He said this plan is going to all those sports because wait a minute, there is a change because they're cutting those sports. We talked about that now. They are cutting those sports that we're naming. So the man said he's going to save those two, so let's see what the man got. Says, now this was the first, when I read this, first of all, salary caps for coaches, I'll tell you right now, what's our boy that's the agent? What's my boy, the white guy? SEC.
The fat dude, Jimmy Sexton.
Jimmy Sexton. You know, God doggone well, Jimmy Sexton ain't going for this. And trust me, shout out to Jimmy Sexton. I know Jimmy Sexton personally.
He represents everybody. All the heavy hitters.
I had to explain this. I remember when this was before when the Alabama job came open, and Scotty, and shout out, you know, they were doing a outspoken with Scotty and Perry, and they really didn't know the inner worker. They were talking about, look how quick Alabama got that job. Look, they you know, HBCU. I said, bro, I had to call and said, listen, bro, that ain't how that works. Jimmy Sexton moves those coaches around. Jimmy Sexton says, you go here, I go there, they go there. That's how that works, bro. That's why it moves fast. Lane Kiffin, that was Jimmy Sexton. Because trust me, we're going to talk about Lane Kiffin because your boy was tripping. But let's talk about this. Salary caps, creation of new. First of all, my question is, do they really think, now here's my thing. The NCAA is $1 billion entity, the organization. You think it's going to go away too? Now, I don't know about that. So this is what it is. White House committee tasked with reforming college athletics is circulating a draft of ideas for discussion such capping coaches' salary, creating a group of a group of 6 playoff. See, don't let that there, and shield the NCAA for antitrust legislation. And the thing about that antitrust, that's for so the kids basically can't sue. And the NCAA, well, it said, see, this is what's funny. It says shield the NCAA, but they're going to disband the NCAA based off of this. But we'll get to that. So review was circulated when President Trump's College Sports. So let's get to it. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. So all this. So let's go here. The idea of salary caps, media reform, and group of 6. The document outlines 3 phases: stabilization, media rights reform, and permanent governance. Phase 1 is where the consequential ideas live. The document calls for salary caps for coaches and administrators, the most direct innovation into athletic department spending ever proposed at the federal level. Is aimed at addressing rising costs in college athletics, which have led some programs to cut non-revenue sports, which everybody Rocky was naming, and shrink staffs in athletic departments. Coaches' salaries have never been higher. At least 13 major coaches are set to be paid $10 million. So let's go by this point by point. Okay. Now, I like how the ADs and the presidents hid behind this. Because they're the ones paying the coaches, right? They're the one. Now, they don't have to pay the coach that money. But they end up paying the Lane Kiffins.
Well, they're not paying them. What they're doing is they're paying a small portion of their contract. The rest of all of these coaches are getting paid by foundations or some other LLC, you know what I'm saying, or that's affiliated with the school. Like, for an example, like you have TAF, Tiger Athletic Foundation with LSU, right? You know, LSU may be paying maybe $1 million to Lane Kiffin. The rest of his contract is being paid by the Tiger Athletic Foundation. And they all do it. They all have foundations that pay.
Crazy ass Landry was talking all that, and they were like, Landry, y'all don't even pay for the coach's salary when they did the buyout for your boy, Brian Kelly. And he was around there, oh, we can't be around here losing all that money. Bro, y'all don't even pay for that. Let Zoe point out. So that's the first thing. It's like, yeah, Jimmy Sexton ain't going for that. So let's go on to the next thing. Also outlined in the document is the prohibition on NIL-based salary cap circumvention. A growing concern as booster collectives and athletic departments redirect multimedia rights and apparel revenues to supplement the $20.5 million that schools are permitted to share with players. So let's talk about this. So they want to cap it $20 million. And again, we talk a group of 6 now, okay? Let's be clear. Group of 6, $20 million salary cap. You get what you get, and that's it. Now, so me and you've been around a long time. We are in SEC country. We know what them folks do. Like I say, if you don't believe, ask Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Ask Auburn with Cam Newton why he didn't go to Mississippi State. We go on and on and on. And I'm talking about just recently. I ain't gonna even go back to SMU days and Texas A&M days, what them boys did and how they got paid. So you really think that those boosters, because all they care about is winning, so they can go to the water cooler at their job, and the one went to Alabama, one went to Florida, we beat y'all ass. Because that's all they care about, because the money is wasted money. There's no return or true return on investment. They just give, and what I have no problem with kids making money. Do you really think that's going to stop the circumvention zone?
No.
Come on, man.
No.
What are we talking about here? So then the next point, create a separate playoff for the group of 6 conferences. They also suggest, now this is interesting, possibly shaking up conference membership for non-revenue sports to decrease travel costs and burden the school. I'm almost down with that until I know, see, man, listen, man, I'm almost a lawyer by trade. I read the fine print. Basically, what they're trying to do is kick off these non-revenue sports and almost make them a club sport. Yeah, you'll be affiliated with Ohio State, Michigan, but you really won't be affiliated with them. So we ain't really got to pay that.
I was going to say, now to this point, let's say you have some group of 6 schools. You have some group of 6 schools who have great boosters that can actually pay players. Now, here's the beautiful thing about, you know, this space. It doesn't stop the cheating, because people are going to cheat until you're not cheating unless you get caught.
How about that?
Right. And so the thing
you ain't
is,
trying.
you're gonna have some schools that, hey, we got this player signed. He has a $5 million deal legally above the table. Well, guess what? I can pay you cash under the table. I can pay you cash under the table as a means to sign. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the thing about it. So, like I said, the cheating is going to be rampant now because, again, if a player is getting $5 million, you know what I'm saying? And yes, people say, well, you got to pay taxes. Yeah, but guess what? You pay taxes on money that's taxed. You ain't paying taxes on cash.
Bro,
you got to have proof of it.
You this is what you hit right on the head. So if I got a flat cap, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, Michigan, and clearly, and let's be clear, the kids, as they say, they ain't playing for the J hat no more. So they playing for the money. That used to be, hey man, that was my favorite school and all that, man. These jokes come out, they mouth, and every coach has said it. The first thing they said, what we getting? Hell, it even was at the HBCU level, which is crazy. What I'm getting. So to your point, though, if I'm Ohio State and I'm recruiting Zoe Phillips Jr., defensive tackle, we can only give you $5 million, Mr. Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not saying you would do this, but we just talking. Ole Miss, because Ole Miss is not racist, Zoe. They want you to stay in the state of Mississippi. Well, Zoe, let me tell you something, Mr. Phillips. If little Zoe comes up here to Ole Miss, we got $5 million. But I tell you what, though, you and your wife, if you ever need anything, just give us a call. Just give us a call there, Zoe. You don't think that's not gonna happen? Come on, man. What are we talking about here? This is just insanity.
Or Steve, let me say something that sounds real familiar. We got $5 million for you. Probably slide you a little change. And, oh, you know what? You a doctor, huh? How about we make you a surgeon over here at UMC?
Come on, man.
I mean, it happens all the time, man. I'm telling you, like, none of this stuff is new, bro. It's just the fact that you allow money to be paid above the table doesn't mean now it's easier. That's the thing. It's even easier to pay under the table now because you do pay above the table. Now, granted, the risk of getting caught, well, the ramifications are going to be a lot worse if you get caught because you can pay above the table. But trust me when I tell you, it's going to make it. But now it's even easier to do it because, again, if a kid's getting $5 million, even if it's tax, bro, that's a lot of money. So me sliding somebody extra $3 million, you're not going to see it in cash. I'm just telling you, bro.
So, well, hold on. Well, I'm gonna make it simple, bro. You got NBA players that was getting less than $50,000 that put their careers and about to go to jail, and now that are making millions. So, to your point, it ain't got to be a lot of money for a fool to do foolish things.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't got, because people always like to hook up. They always like it, and we see it with the makes no sense that Chauncey Bill and all them guys about to go to jail. Unless somebody's snitching, Terry Rozier, for the little bit of money that they got. So we ain't talking about no millions, we're talking about thousands. That's crazy. So again, to your point, if somebody, hey man, you gonna give me extra $50,000 just to walk around? Oh yeah, I'll take that. So then this is the crazy thing, though. They say they're gonna create a group of 6 playoff. So what the group of 5 gonna do? What they gonna do?
Hey. So look, we got a bigger cap. We ain't just paying $5 million. On the Power 5, we're paying you about 20.
But, it's like, so this is the thing about it. So man, we already know where this is going. So, but here's the thing, though. Let's talk about the players. The document outlines solutions to slow player movement in the transfer with a caliber of the NBA Bird Rule. This allows schools to provide financial incentives to players who stay at the same institute for consecutive seasons. Now, this right here, this could be a pimp game for the players right here. I actually like this. Let's talk about this. So basically, what people don't understand what the Bird Rule is, if you were drafted by that team or stayed that team X amount of years, you can pay them more than another team trying to recruit you.
Yep.
You could go above the salary cap in the NBA.
Yep.
That's the Bird Rule. So, case in point, let's see. Who do we have? The kid from Duke.
I was going to give you a real good example.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you do it. Well, you go first. You go first. because I was ready. So you got the kid from Duke, quarterback. Duke say, hey, well, listen, they all mad because you remember he had signed a deal to stay. And he goes to Miami. So now with the Bird rule, now what they're saying is Miami, you can only pay him X. But because he was at Duke for 2 years, we can pay him more. And that will hopefully keep him at Duke. And he gets more money, and Duke consistently keep their players. And Miami, even though they got offer him $3 million, Duke can offer him $5 million.
Yeah, but that's what
if the salary cap is not circumvented.
But here's the thing though. They can have the salary cap. Yeah, Duke can offer, we can give them 3, Duke can offer 5. But guess what?
Right.
I can give you 3 above table and give you 3 under the table. See what I'm saying?
It's that, bro. It's like it ain't gonna change. It is not going to change.
And let me say this too. See, the thing about having that cap is because they're talking about sliding. You know, I wish I would have gave you the slide of what they're doing for what was that? The Sun Belt or Conference USA. It was one of them where they have each position slotted to a certain rate of pay.
I said that. I actually sent that to you. Yeah.
So the thing is, if they do that, well, guess what? Now it makes it easier to give the offer. For example, if it's a backup cornerback, right, and that backup, the first backup cornerback, if he's slotted to make $3 million, you see what I'm saying? And you know, just like we know everybody bird rights beforehand, we know what that amount is. So it's just like, hey, you know, well, there's no point in me transferring because you can only give me $3 million, but I can get 5 here. But guess what I can say? Oh man, look, I can give you 3. I can give you 3. I can match that 5. I can beat it. So I tell you what, if I can make sure that you get $6 million, will you come? Because I can give you 3 here above the table. I can give you 3 under the table, and I can do something else as a nice little thing to get you here. I can make sure your parents taken care of. We can provide a vehicle for them every time they get here, or provide mama a nice little job. Mama retired, we give her another little job, little job to pay us some bread. So there's ways around it, dog. Ways around it.
Real quick, the chart that Zoe's talking about, I sent Zoe. So this is what basically the American Conference said, hey, listen, here's kind of a guideline what you guys should be paying. And let me make this a little bit bigger. And they got a whole depth chart. So
I'll blow it up bigger some more. Don't worry about the kicker and the punter. Blow it up some more. All right, there you go. You can move it right. Yeah, perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. So QB1, pay him $325,000. Wide receiver 1, $225. Left tackle, $175. Left guard, $150. Center, $150. Guard. So line, $175 and $150. Edge rusher, $250. Defensive tackle, $150. And then you got your cornerbacks, $150. Safeties, $150. Linebackers, $150. So basically, all defensive backs and linebackers getting $150. So this was when I saw this, and I think I did the math. I think this came up to like $3 to $4 million.
Yep.
That each team, and I think like Tulane is hitting this, and the thing about it is the American Conference has told all teams you got to spend at least $3 million for NIL. It's between $3 to $5 million. Every school you have to. It's non-negotiable. You have to have this for NIL. So this is their chart that they have. That again, to Zoe's point, QB1, I'm gonna give you 325. Man, I need a little bit more than that. If I'm staying on the same level, how you gonna stop that kid from getting a little bit more? How you gonna stop it? I just don't see how that. I just don't see how that happens. So back to the guys, once again, the big brains that we were talking about. So here's the thing. So the next thing they were talking about was pooling the rights, the media rights together.
Mm-hmm.
This definitely ain't happening. Combining media rights across the conference line with Florida pre-law billionaire Texas Tech booster Cody Campbell. This guy Cody Campbell is the guy that paid all them Texas A&M players. I mean Texas Tech players. He personally made Texas Tech a playoff team. Because he went to school there, he said, I'm tired of losing Texas A&M. I'm paying for everybody. So that lets you know my boy right here saying, listen, let's do this. So then what kills me, the proposal has been publicly supported by American Conference Commissioner Tim Pernetti. Of course, American Conference will want that to get an extra check off the ACC, SEC, the Big Ten. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? There is no way that the Big Ten and SEC, which is going to lead into the next thing that I'm going to talk about, is going to share money with the Big 12 and the ACC and whatever conference they let come for the ride, because the American Conference, maybe they're going to beg to be in this super playoff system, which leads us to this right here, which is crazy when I saw this. Because see, it's all these things tying together, man. All these things tying together. College football coaches throwing support behind expanded. There we go. Expanded CFP format. So they said we want more people in the playoffs. They're talking about a 24-team playoff. And the elimination of the league title game.
And Steve, Waters with. So you want to take a guess why they went to a 24-game playoff?
Well, of course, we know. So the SEC and the Big Ten can have 18 other, 24, technically 24 other slots. 24 to 24 slots.
No. What were we just talking about? Basically, adding more teams to their playoff is basically increasing the bucket to retain more money to pay.
Yeah.
Remember, it takes money to make money. They're spending more money. Now they got to be able to do the things to get more money. See, if I go to a 2014 playoff, you know what I'm saying? Now,
but my point of it is the people that's going to be in it ain't going to be Old Dominion.
I know that. Yes, it's going to be way more the thing because they're going to end up having their own thing. So, my thing is by going to this 2014 tournament. Now it's a playoff. Now we're talking about more playoff games. We're talking about way more money. So now the SEC's payoff could be bigger. Big Ten payoff could be bigger. And see, the SEC needs it because do you know, like the SEC now, I think they're paying roughly about maybe, quote me on it, I think about $70 million per school, right?
Yeah,
they're still, but they're still between the SEC and the Big Ten. They're still a $300 million gap. The Big Ten is making $300 million more than what the ACC is on the television package.
Yeah.
So again, more money to bring in. That's what it all is. It's not about competitive fervor and all the other shit. They sell that shit. It's about getting more money.
But the 24-team model is an at-large field determined through the CFP rankings with the automatic spot for the group of 6 leagues. The format has 1 playoff round and 12 additional games. The top 8 ranked teams will receive a first-round bye, while seeds 9 through 24 play the first round on campus. Conference championship games will be eliminated, and the playoff presumably will start immediately after the regular season. A long discussed shift in the postseason calendar, and a path for the national title game to be played in the 3rd week of January to return to the 2nd Monday in the month. To that end, coaches also recommend that the regular season should include 1, not 2 bye weeks, and that the minimum number of days between games be 6. Moves they believe will also help the shift of the playoff calendar. But not everyone is leaping toward a 2014 format. For instance, the FBS Conference Championship games fetch a $250 million value that must be recouped from an expanded playoff field. SEC, they're like, hey, man, listen, that's $250 million. Y'all got to figure out how we're going to get that. But that's a lot of money right there. And then estimates range from $300 to $700 million in additional revenue for the 10 games. ESPN owns 2 of the new games in the current format. So, man, this right here, we want to put a salary cap in.
Yep.
We want to put bird rights on the players. And we want to have more. And I'm sorry. And I think Rocky talked about now this is the argument you can make. This expanded playoff in football, that's gonna be bad football right there, bro. Because I'm just saying, I don't care what nobody say. It has never been a time in the history, and I've been watching college football forever, that there's been more than 5 teams that can win the national championship ever.
Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you another thing too. That's the other part of it. But you also gotta remember they're gonna change, they're gonna, put the cap on, but they're gonna minimize transferring. They're gonna minimize transferring. They're gonna have it where you probably can transfer twice at the most. But being able to travel, being able to transfer every year, they're going to stop that because that's one of the things they're trying to put in place now.
The bird rights thing. Well, that's what they're going to try to do. But see, the problem is, that's where it gets, because they've already. That's why I need the antitrust exemption. See, if you have that, then you can't sue for that.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is when you do the antitrust exemption, what comes right behind that is that the kids should be able to unionize.
Mm-hmm.
This is lawyer speak talking. The kids should be able to unionize, which again goes back to the thing what you're saying. Do they negotiate that? Okay, fine. Because they're gonna keep that one transfer. Mm-hmm. They're not giving that up. But the 2, 3, 4, 5, well, that's what the bird rights. But then they're gonna say, you know what? You ain't gonna tell me that. We got to get X. And that means now everybody's gonna have a minimum baseline of what you're gonna have to make. So now it goes back to you trying to make more money, but does it cost you more money by trying to do this? So that's the thing that is really, really gonna be interesting to me. And what I want to see how they really move that, man. So that's just listen. So with that being said, you know what? Let's yep. Zoe, our boy, and I say that jokingly, Lane Kiffin. Boy, Lane Kiffin done got these white folks upset up there in Oxford, Mississippi. And then, listen, man, and I'm going to say this. Let me start this off right here. I have never seen more black folks make this statement. Well, LSU ain't as racist as Ole Miss. I'm going to say that real slow. LSU is not as racist as Ole Miss. Not to say they're not racist, but they're just not as racist. LSU, Ole Miss is called the Rebels. We're the Tigers. Y'all do know the Tigers is named after the Confederate regiment up in Virginia. The Fighting Tigers that was known for brutality. Okay? Brutality and hard fight. So what you think they did with them slaves? So I'm going to pull up your boy Lane. Listen, we about to do some Lane Kiffin right here. We about more diverse. Yeah, right. Yeah, what? Yeah. What, about 1-2%? Come on, man. Because matter of fact, I think one of the white boy pulled out, which somebody can Google it. Somebody do me a favor. Send me the link of the SEC with the black population. Because I know it's out there while I'm doing this. Because somebody said, which I did not believe, because that Ole Miss was second or third. Which, hey man, back in my day, they was 0. They were at the bottom because nobody from Mississippi, and I mean nobody from Jackson ever went to Ole Miss. But let's talk about your boy Lane Kiffin. And I got a lot of Lane Kiffin quotes right here, boy. This thing here is wild. So your boy Lane Kiffin got, interviewed by Vanity Fair, and I'm gonna play the clip from the Vanity Fair reporter. Lane said in his decision to leave Ole Miss for LSU, Lane Kiffin seems to willingly invoke Ole Miss struggle to distance itself from symbols like the Confederate flag, Colonel Reb, and the nickname Ole Miss. I'm going to say this real quick. I've always said the stupidest thing that Ole Miss has ever done is call itself Ole Miss. Just say University of Mississippi.
And it's a whole lot of them that hate when you say University of Mississippi.
Oh yeah, bro. But I'm just saying you could end 90% of your shit by just saying University of Mississippi. But we'll let me proceed. When he was coaching there, Kiffin said top recruits would tell him, hey, coach, we really like you. But my grandparents ain't letting me move to Oxford, Mississippi. That doesn't come up when you say Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Parents were sitting here this weekend saying the campus diversity feels so great. Okay. Here. Y'all, my beautiful black people. It feels like there is no segregation. Not that it's not, but it feels like there's no segregation. Guess what? First week of school, you're going to see the segregation on LSU campus. So that's what your boy Lane Kiffin, that's what he says, though. So I'm going to now play a clip, Paul Feinbaum show, of the actual, the reporter talking to Paul Feinbaum and how he got this great quote from Lane Kiffin. Let me pull this up real quick because this thing here, boy, this thing got wild and this thing is gone crazy. So hold on. And this is the guy that wrote the article talking to Paul. Paul Feinbaum had to jump on this real quick because, boy, Peggy Sue from LSU, I'm pretty sure called in quick and all them who has and all that stuff. So this is Paul Feinbaum. Hold on one second. Let me get this set up. And he's talking to the reporter. And this is what the reporter talking about Lane Kiffin. I want y'all to listen to this. And that Lane Kiffin, boy, this is the same one that talking about make Baton Rouge great again. Remember that? He posted that. but LSU with their governor, they different Ole Miss. Here you go.
I asked him a question about thinking through the decision to go from Ole Miss to LSU and how much of it had to do with as much success, as good a run as he'd had at Ole Miss. You know, did he feel like the ceiling there was lower than it would be at LSU, you know, in terms of wins and sustainability, competing for national championships? And his answer, well, a lot of his answers covered a bunch of ground. And, you know, I'm paraphrasing, but he started out talking about, you know, the relative money that the schools have to tap into, the histories of the football programs, you know, the profiles, the images of the schools. And then he took it in a direction that I didn't expect. You know, I wish it was some genius question that I'd asked him, but he volunteered that idea, that couple of sentences, I don't know how many it is, about grandparents sitting in the office talking about, you know, they're not going to let their kid go to Oxford, Mississippi. And I heard him loud and clear. You know, I knew what he was saying. The next day, he seemed to realize that this was going to be inflammatory. And, you know, after practice that day, I was in his office again. And, you know, that's when he added the part about, oh, I don't want this to sound like a shot at Ole Miss. But then he told the same anecdote all over again about, you know, losing out on recruits at Ole Miss because of, he didn't use the words the racial history, but that's essentially what he was saying. And there's, you know, as you say, been an enormous amount of chatter today about the relative racial profiles and histories of Louisiana and Mississippi and all of that. And that's very much worth discussing. But what's really fascinating to me was not so much the facts, which are important, as Kiffin's willingness to go there, to say it publicly and, you know, clearly indicate that that's an angle he intends to sell to recruits.
So, your boy Lane Kiffin said he could not recruit the players because the folks said they didn't want to go play at Ole Miss, Old Colonel Reb, and LSU just seemed like a more integrated place. What you think about that, Zo?
Well, first things first is that he didn't lie. I mean, but it's the gall of it, right? The audacity, because again, they're pretty much mirror images of each other.
Right.
However, there's a caveat to this. Him saying what he said today is actually going to pay dividends for him with regards to recruiting, believe it or not. It really is. You want to know why?
Yeah. Okay, help me out here.
It's going to pay dividends because when you look at the actual imagery or the thought process of racism in the South, yes, the whole South has that stigma to it, but one state stands out more than all the others. Let's not get it twisted. When it comes to civil rights and resistance and, you know, all the imagery and what we think about Mississippi as we know it, even as I speak from then to now, is clearly head and shoulders above everybody else when we think about racism and everything that goes on with regards to it. If we go state by state, Mississippi stands above all the rest with regards to that. Now, what I mean by it's going to pay dividends is it's going to pay dividends for those kids that he's recruiting from California, those kids that he's recruiting from the Northeast. That's what it's going to reach. Because again, when he made the comments that he said, yeah, it's plenty of black parents that ain't going to send their kids to Ole Miss. Hell, I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? I would send my kid to Ole Miss. But the thing is, yes, but it's the same thing in Louisiana, and we know this. You know, I'll give you my own true living testament. Man, listen, as you know, I lived in New Orleans and Baton Rouge for about 6-7 years. I was an actor. I was there because Louisiana does more on location films outside of sound studios than probably anywhere else in the country. Now, Georgia stepped into play, but this is back when around 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, around that time. And you know, did Dukes of Hazzard. I did, you know, quite a few things in New Orleans and Baton Rouge when I was there. I myself have never been face to face with anything racist in Mississippi, like just blatant racism, blatant bigotry. I've never received that from a white person in my entire life. I know it's there. I'm not going there. I've never came face to face with anything until I lived in Louisiana. And I'm not saying this to take a shot at Louisiana because I love Louisiana. I live there, have some amazing friends there. I have family there to this day. Getting married in New Orleans, right? I love Louisiana. But I myself never date with anything racist face to face until I lived in Louisiana. Also, another thing I'll touch to, I've never personally had to do anything on my own volition in regards to civil rights until I was in Louisiana. When we had the whole thing with the Gen 6, I'm quite sure you guys may remember that. Well, because like a lot of people at that time, I think I might have been 28, 29. And, you know, hearing my parents talk about doing different things in the civil rights movement. And when this happened, and Steve, you would have had to have lived in Louisiana when that happened. And I feel like it was my time that I could sit there and say that I was a part of something, right? To, you know, there was civil rights like, you know, going to Jenna, you know, marching and being a part of that whole process. And I'll never forget it, right? But again, that was in Louisiana. Never had any of that in Mississippi in my lifetime. Right. You know, there have been some people that were wrong in Mississippi, right? But, you know, just those things, I never dealt with it until I was in Louisiana. So I say all that to say this. Yes, Louisiana is the same. Alabama and Mississippi are the same state. They're flipped backwards, right? Alabama has a horrible past. Louisiana does. You know, Florida, South Carolina started the Confederacy, you know what I'm saying? And so on and so forth. But the point, so I get where most people are like, oh, how can you say that? But saying Mississippi is like this, and you're going to Louisiana, yada, yada, yada. But the thing is that he's trying to use whatever he can to do what he can to heighten what he can to help him out from a recruit standpoint at LSU over Ole Miss. He's not trying to sit here and justify him leaving. People may say it that way, but he's been on that and he left, right? The thing is, I don't recruit just in the South. I recruit because I'm recruiting against Ole Miss. And I'm recruiting against, you know, for those kids on the West Coast that I'm going to get here because he recruits nationally. Hell, he was doing it at Ole Miss. But the thing is, Steve, is that there are certain things at Ole Miss that kind of don't, that doesn't go at LSU. And that's why I'm saying Ole Miss in Mississippi stands out. Again, the name Ole Miss in and of itself is racist. It's so racist that they can't let it go. You know, yes, they were still playing Dixie on the field after the game. Like those things are tangible. They're not doing those things at other places because Ole Miss doesn't want to let go of certain things that they've done. Okay, you got players, and I'll even send it to you. Brandon Bolden, who's from Baton Rouge, who played running back at Ole Miss. He himself said it's extremely racist. So when that's out there on platforms, you're getting that on platforms in this day and time. They're not saying that about LSU. I mean, we know it to be true, but they're not doing that because LSU, for all we know it to be, it doesn't have that stigma. South Carolina does not have that stigma. I'm talking about the colleges from a national perception. Right. They don't have that stigma. Alabama doesn't even have that stigma. Alabama still live with we were racist until what? USC brought that black boy down here and beat our brain in, and old Bear Bryant started recruiting black players, and now we winning. But Ole Miss still has that stigma. Ole Miss, I graduated high school in 1996. Now I was just telling you this. Man, Tommy Tuberville had to force them to not bring Confederate flags into the stadium. And when I tell you the fans were bringing Confederate flags to the stadium, we're talking about in the thousands. And guess what? They couldn't tell them not to bring the flag. So what they did, they created a stick ban that started in 1997. They had to put that in place, and that was the thing that was able to stop them from bringing the flags to the stadium. They just changed from the Colonel Reb mascot, I want to say in about 2008, 2009, Steve, and they started coming up with the damn land sharks. So they're trying to, at first they came up with some teddy bears, then they went to the land sharks for the defense. They're trying to come up with these other things to try to disassociate from their thing, because we don't want to lose those black boys from going there. But Ole Miss, unlike any other school in the SEC, all the other schools in the SEC does not have that stigma to it to this day. But Ole Miss does. But Ole Miss still does things that make them have that stigma. Because again, by far and large, they hate when you say the University of Mississippi. Matter of fact, Jackie Sherrill, when he got hired in Mississippi State, one of the first things he did was call them, and they hated it. He never called them Ole Miss. Go find any clip. You will never hear him saying Ole Miss. And they hate him for it. He said, we got to play Mississippi this weekend. When it was time for the elbow, we got to play Mississippi. That's what he called them. And they hated that shit. So I'm telling you, man, everything that Ole Miss has to them, it's just due. It's just due. So, they're in the SEC charter member. Mississippi State doesn't have that stigma, and Mississippi State is in the same damn state, right? Mississippi State doesn't have that stigma.
I'm gonna pull up some numbers. I'm gonna let you finish, though. I'm gonna let you go ahead.
Look, Mississippi State doesn't have that same stigma. Florida doesn't. Kentucky doesn't. Arkansas doesn't. Yes, they're all Confederate states. We know what goes on at them schools, but they don't have the black eye that Ole Miss does, and everybody knows it. We all know it, and they can't shake it, and rightfully so.
So here's the thing, and I'm gonna say this again, as they say, it's just like least race is just like being a little bit pregnant, bro. Either you are. So I don't see, for me, and let me tell you something. And listen, there are very few people gonna be able to say it. I recruited players for my sport from every SEC school and ACC school. I've been to every one of them, met all the coaches, know the alumni. I've been to all of them in a 10-year span. And the thing about what's so this is the diversity. Now, mind you, LSU, Louisiana is 32% black. LSU got 16% black population. Oh, that sounds pretty good. Alabama got 13. Georgia got 8. Hell, Ole Miss got 11. Y'all acting like 5 points ain't that much. And again, do the math of 16%. What? LSU probably got, 45,000 students? Probably. Somewhere in there, 40,000 students, 35,000. Go see how much actually 16% of that is of 35,000. Because I can tell you right now, 10% of 30,000 is 3. And I can tell you, so they got 5,000 black people on that campus?
Yeah, so that 60% is 5,600.
Yeah, thank you. So I did the quick math. So I was there. So hell. And so when people do this pretzel twisting, and again, you know what? I ain't gonna say his name because he's my guy. But there's a guy I know that played University of Georgia. And shout out to BJ Jones that was giving people straight work about this foolishness. Listen, man, all these FCC schools are the exact same. But what Zoe said, let me tell you something. Ole Miss is just bad at PR. They're just really bad at PR. Because the rest of these schools, University of Alabama, where the person that was on the board of trustees, daughter couldn't play at the little white sorority. The University of Texas, when they told them kids, when they were talking about a dorm need to be changed, whatever song they were playing, and that cracker wrote, the president said, them guys don't like it, they can leave Texas. This just happened at Texas. Man, don't let me, I can go school to school to school. Florida had the Confederate flag on their helmet. So let's stop this foolishness. So listen, man, my thing is like this. If you want to go play for these schools, hey, man, for me, I understand it's business. But don't come to me with any social thing that LSU is some bastion of black nirvana, because it ain't.
Steve,
if you want LSU to play football, then whatever. But I'm going to make one thing, because here's the thing, what I did know, and this is one thing which is so funny, because this goes back to the Mississippi Sippin on Sundays, Zoe Phillips, Mr. Campbell in the building. But one thing was when we grew up, when I grew up especially, so this is Mississippi State. And what was always known, it was a lot of people. Nobody went to Ole Miss. People went to Southern Miss, and they went to Mississippi State.
Yep.
And look what Mississippi State got. 16% student body. They right up there with LSU. So you had all the people, and it used to tickle me, because I remember this movement when people started, because Mississippi State started giving out a lot of money. Because nobody would know, Ole Miss was giving out money, nobody was going. But for people, and you had, and again, you send your kid where you want, but I'm talking about when I grew up. This was the first crew that was like, well, I don't want to go to Jackson State because it's like the 13th, 14th, 15th grade. I'm not going to go to Valley because nobody went to Valley from Jackson. And I don't want to go to Alcorn. So I can't go out of state because I can't afford it. Oh, Mississippi State going to give me money to go? I'm going to go to Mississippi State. So they got a whole bunch of brothers that rolled up to Mississippi State. Hell, one of my daughters went to Mississippi State for a second till I told her to leave her ass up out of there. She went to Tougaloo, finished up. But the thing about it is, this whole thing here, and when I see black folks twisting themselves in a pretzel to sit back here and justify, like a guy, he played at Georgia. Well, Georgia, you know, we just didn't feel like that. Yeah, the hell y'all don't. I'm in Atlanta. This the same University of Georgia that didn't want to go see a black vice president. That the coach was like, no, we ain't going up there. To go see Biden and Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris was one of the main reasons. I'm here in Georgia. Don't tell me I'm lying. So, man, look, we got to stop this foolishness, man, you know, and everything. And Lane Kiffin, Lane, let's keep it a buck. Now, I get that point, but Lane, you got paid to leave, bro. You got a check. You got paid to go to LSU because they paid you more money. Because if Ole Miss had LSU money, I don't want to hear what you say because you was winning. You was getting cats. And we can tell, and like I say, hey, man, and so me and you talked about this. The first time ever in the history of my life, ever, because of Trinidad Chambers, because Ole Miss played Georgia in the playoffs, right? Mm-hmm. That was the only time ever, other than when they've had basketball team, a black coach, and then Coach Yo, shout out to Coach Yo, Ole Miss basketball, Ole Miss basketball women, because I root for Coach Yo. But that's the first time in my life ever in the history. And Lawrence Adams, who's my little brother, ain't you and Lawrence around the same age?
No, LA is 2 years older than me.
2 years older than me. Well, I've known Lawrence forever. Because I was mind blown. Him and his brother. We were
first player I ever knew that was good and went to Ole Miss. Lawrence Adams, Callaway, great.
When Deshaun called me and said, "You're not gonna believe this, Lawrence is going to Ole Miss," I said, "What?"
LA, yeah, everybody did.
So it was
Callaway legend.
Yep, Callaway legend. You know. So the thing about it is, man, is that I see these people twisting themselves, black people, trying to defend. And man, listen, if you root for a Confederate team, but don't come to me with that BS, man. Please do not.
And here's the thing too, because like you said they have a PR problem. I said I disagree because they stood on what they did. So the thing is, all these other teams, they went away from it, you know, saying they did the PR thing. They went away from it, right? But again, Ole Miss stood in it. We're not changing our traditions. We don't give a damn how y'all feel. We gonna play, Dixie after the game. We'll continue to carry our Confederate flags to the game. We're still gonna do all these things that say hold to our traditions. Oh, we're not getting rid of that Ole Miss moniker. And for the people here who can hear my voice, if you don't know where the term Ole Miss comes from, Ole Miss was the bed wench of the slave owner of the plantation. And they call her Ole Miss whenever they got to the plantation. That's where the name comes from. Understand that. That's where that comes from. And they won't remove that under any circumstance, right? But then also, you go into excuse me, you go into, again, they stay stuck on their past, and again, everybody else moved on. So it's hard for them to shake that, and they won't be able to. No. But to Lane Kiffin's point, I do want to say this too, because this is one thing that Ole Miss did that went over a lot of y'all heads, right? So he made the analogy, Steve, that yes, it's true. The LSU the Bayou Bengals was the name of the Army regiment out of Louisiana that fought in the Civil War. That's fact. But do you want to take a guess at what the regiment was out of Mississippi? Want to take a guess?
Go ahead, educate the folks.
They were called the Rebels.
No, 100%.
Also, not only that, do you want to know what the Confederate Army was called?
The Rebels.
They were the Confederate Grays. and they wore their Confederate grays, right? So
Ole Miss color is a Confederacy, absolutely.
So another fun fact: the Confederate colors were red, blue, and gray. They wore a gray uniform with red and blue in it. Ole Miss said we got our red from Harvard and our blue from Yale. They'll tell you that. They'll sell you that. But then I want you to go back a few years ago. I think under Hugh Freeze, and it kind of raised a slight little thing, but most people didn't even realize it. Ole Miss for the first time wore all gray uniform. I forgot what big game it was, but they wore all gray uniform with slight red and blue accents in it. And it put you in the mind of them wearing a goddamn Civil War uniform. Go back and pull it up. So again, they can't let that shit go, bro.
No,
they can't.
Where's in that DNA? Well, that's the thing.
So my point is,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna let you go. I was gonna say, my point is, they don't have a PR problem. They're steeped in their bullshit. Like it is what it is.
Well,
I didn't know. It was Fight Tiger, but they were called the Bayou Bengals. But I said Blue Bengals because Jack State's called Blue Bengals. I messed it up. But it was Fight Tigers. It was Bayou Bengals. But the outfit in Mississippi were called the Rebels. The Rebels, dog. So
yeah, that's very right. That's the Fighting Tigers. And they were in Virginia. And like I said, let me tell you this. I'm gonna tell you how I found that story out. Because again, like I said, I went to St. Joe. And white folks, again, I had a lot of Ole Miss classmates, family went to Ole Miss, and LSU too. And I would know, and I heard them white people, I'm about to say something, arguing and making jokes up again, this who's more racist. And this white boy saying, "Oh, you can't tell me because the Tigers are named after the Confederacy." And I'm like, "Oh, damn, okay, let me listen to this." And then that's when I looked it up. And I said, well, damn, the Tigers are named after their regiment, just like all these other schools, like the War Eagle is from an old Confederate general. That's where that comes from. But here's the thing. So let me tell you, I saw this when we were talking, because I was trying to find something. And they have a racism meter in the SEC. Ole Miss is at the top. Would bring back the Confederacy, Ole Miss. But let's go to the next year. Very racist. Mississippi State, Alabama, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida, LSU, Auburn, Georgia, and Texas. And then just racist. Vanderbilt, Kentucky, and Missouri. Even the white folks know that what they are. No, you're right. It is a Fighting Tiger. It's 100%. I know this for a fact. That's what it is. I know what it is. You're right. It's called the Fighting Tigers. That's what it is. They were in Virginia. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I know this. So yeah, so listen, that's why I'm like, stop playing this game of racism 101. Well, he's at 100 and he's at a 95. Bro, they both at 90s. So again, all for me, they all the same for me. And these people that have gotten on there defending this foolishness, and let's talk, because we get ready to move into a little politics. So if y'all don't like that, we get ready to move into that, because that's going to tie in to this right here. Man, listen. If you're going to go play football for the SEC, hell, and let's keep it a buck. Indiana, y'all do know Indiana cut all the funding for DEI. The state of Indiana. Ohio did the same thing. So I don't want to hear none of that from them either. All these schools are the same. Bro, they're built for y'all to go and play. If you want to go out there and make a business decision, at this stage of the game, I don't care. That's your life. You do it. But don't come up to me and compare you going to LSU to you going to Southern, because it ain't the same. It ain't the same. And don't tell me the same, because it's not. And I ain't going to tell you. It ain't the same you going to Florida State compared to you going to FAMU. It ain't the same you going to Jack State and you going to Ole Miss. It ain't the same, because guess what? They put you in a little corner, and where you belong. That's why you got to have a black student union. Point blank, period. So I want to, so moving on, though, because that leads into something that this is just crazy. Your folks up there in Tennessee, after the decision of Louisiana versus Calais, I believe that was Calais. Your folks in Tennessee, boy, did not hesitate, so they said, we about to redraw that map. And thank you, Ron. There you go, 100% where it is. Big time. So I don't want to hear nothing about all that foolishness. But your folks in Tennessee, though, and we're going to talk about this, they got really excited when they was cutting out this map and cutting out Memphis. And again, I'm going to say this. Well, you know what? I'm going to say that because I'm going to make this statement, and I'm going to explain it. Do not get in this chat and make, will black folks vote for Democrats 80% of the time because I'm gonna make you look stupid. So I'm trying to tell you, I'm way more educated on this stuff than 99% of y'all. So if you want to play that game, if you get in that chat with that foolishness, I'm gonna put you on the Summer Jam screen because I'm gonna prove something to you. But moving on, I ain't about to play that game tonight. About to talk real business. So this is Tennessee, and this is the white folks getting really happy in what they're doing. So right here, let me because the comment. Watch Tennessee Republicans laugh about stripping majority black Memphis of power as Warner walks in wearing a Trump flag and try to laugh about it. So this is them smiling, taking y'all rights away. And again, representation, not about voting somebody black, it's about black representation because black people can vote for who they want to, and that's diluting their vote. So this is white folks up there in Tennessee. That's an SEC school too. So they're just laughing in your face right there. Just laughing in your face. I'm gonna let you go.
Steve, look, that don't even bother me. And I it doesn't because I say all the time, I mean, dude, they play in our face every day. Look, we're here in Mississippi. You got Confederate statues all up and down the state. All up and down the state. You know, you got Confederate holidays, but they were repealing everything that's associated with any type of black excellence, right? Or any other minority for that matter, right? You know, I make this joke all the time. I say, you know, you don't hear talk about building that wall no more, huh? I find it funny that they wanted to build that damn wall, but shit, you should have seen all the damn Mexican places, Mexican restaurants on Cinco de Mayo. You see what I'm saying? They play in our face all the time, man. You know, we don't really jive with a lot of minorities, right? We don't, you know, we want to limit this and take away and do this, but we want to soak up everything that you got. And like I say, man, everything else is about, man, I'm gonna say, everything else is about the great preservation of all things of pure whiteness. Really, I mean, we talk everything in down south is associated with the Civil War, but yet still nobody talks about how the very nature of everything they grab hold to is treason to this country.
Unbelievable.
Everything that they cling to is treason to this country, but yet and still we want to cling to this. Also, it's oxymoronic, right? We love winners, but yet we want to highlight losers. You see what I'm saying? We want to highlight losers, treasonous losers at that. Lost the war, you know what I'm saying? You broke away from the country, came back kicking and screaming, and over what they felt to be cheap, free labor. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, they play in our face every day, man. So I'm not surprised by that. You know, like I will always say, man, I see better than I hear. I mean, you hear the lies, you see all the bull jive all day long, but man, you see it and you recognize it.
So your boy, you got a guy down in Alabama. He said that, you know what, now since we got this, because Alabama, they redrawing their map real quick too. They right on point. Alabama said, you know what? Well, since we can redraw this map, maybe we can go ahead and look at the 14th Amendment. So for all you history buffs that don't know what the 14th Amendment is, this basically made y'all a citizen, pretty much, to make it simple.
Man.
The 14th Amendment is the cornerstone of the U.S. Constitution, granted birthright citizenship, and this was passed before any of the Mexicans came. This is for slaves. This is what this is for. Ensuring equal protection under law and prohibiting states from depriving any person of life, liberty, and property without due process. It fundamentally expanded civil rights, enabled the federal government to protect individuals from state-level discrimination. So your boy down at Alabama, he said, man, we might need to look at that 14th Amendment there, so your boy, so your boy Charlemagne, he gave him the donkey today. So we're gonna let Charlemagne rock on this and take it a little time with y'all listen to Charlemagne and what he got to say about this white person who want to take y'all rights away.
On in the world, Epstein files, UFO files, war with Iran, gas prices through the roof, cost of everyday goods through the roof. It's just a lot. So you may or may not realize that black political power in the South is facing what many are calling a reconstruction of the Jim Crow South. Okay, the systematic dismantling of majority black congressional districts, redistricting of voting rights, the dilution of black voter impact through strategic redistricting. Hell, in Louisiana, a brother named Calvin Duncan won 68% of the vote to serve as Orleans Parish criminal court clerk. And at the urging of Governor Jeff Landry, the GOP-controlled state legislature, raced to pass legislation that eliminated his position. Okay, just days before his term was about to start, and they transferred his duties to another official. So a black man wins an election and has it just taken away at the state's request. So yeah, when people say this is a reconstruction of the Jim Crow South when it comes to black political power, I can see why they say that. But I'm telling you, hell can always get hotter. Okay, and Nathaniel Ledbetter is proving that because in the Constitution, there is something called the 14th Amendment. Okay, Google it later if you want to, but I'll tell you a little bit about it now. The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in these here United States of America, okay, including formerly enslaved people. Okay, and guaranteed all citizens equal protections of the laws and due process. It forbids states from denying these rights, and it's a cornerstone of American civil rights law. So yes, the 14th Amendment is what formally recognizes black people as citizens. Okay, it explicitly overturns the 1857 Dred Scott versus Sanford decision that had declared niggers were not citizens. Okay, this is important, y'all. All right, the 14th Amendment established birthright citizenship for anyone born or naturalized in America, guaranteeing equal protection under the law for formerly enslaved people. Well, what if one day they decided to overturn the 14th Amendment and said, you blacks don't deserve guaranteed citizenship or equal protection of the laws? Well, that's exactly what Nathaniel Ledbetter wants to happen. Oh, he said it in the press conference. Okay, at the close of a special session. Let's listen.
Well, it certainly gives us an opportunity to look at those congressional districts again. Gives us a chance at all of them if we get some reprieve from courts. And so we'll see how that goes, and certainly hope that the Supreme Court will overturn Amendment 14 and gives us a shot to revisit those. There's been a push through the courts to try to overtake some of these red state seats. And with the ruling that happened in Louisiana, we felt like it gave us a chance to maybe regain that seat, but also open up District 7. So I think that's happened. All we need now is the courts to overturn 14, and we can look at a new election.
Come again? Okay. Now, a spokesman for Nathaniel said the speaker didn't mean what he actually said. Well, Mr. Spokesman, he said it twice. Okay, he said it twice in that statement I just heard. And I don't know if y'all quite understand what it would mean for the 14th Amendment to be overturned. States could legalize forms of racial segregation. Without the 14th Amendment, legal discriminatory systems in education, housing, public accommodations, employment, okay, all of that. It would be legal, okay, to be discriminating against all black asses, okay, unless stopped by federal legislation. And do you think this current administration, this federal government is going to stop any of that? Huh? Voting rights, please. You think they weak now? You think they've been gutted now? Get rid of the 14th Amendment, they wouldn't even matter. Okay, black people, we wouldn't be able to win a civil rights lawsuit if the white man you were suing's life depended on it, okay? Basically, whatever the Jim Crow era looked like from 1877 to the 1960s, that's what we would be back in with Wi-Fi. Okay, legal racial segregation and discrimination. And this is the amendment that Nathaniel Ledbetter is saying should be overturned, the 14th. Okay, what I hate about situations like this is people will tell black folks don't overreact. That's not what he meant. But how come the mistakes always got to do with something that removes our rights? Okay, nobody ever accidentally says, you know what? I hope everybody gets free health care. I hope everybody gets free reparations. This is why people don't trust politicians when they say democracy is safe, because if your first instinct during a voting rights argument is maybe we should overturn the amendment that gave Black people citizenship, well, what exactly do you think the problem is, Nathaniel? Huh? Do you think the problem is the maps? Are the Black voters on the maps? I'll take the niggers for 1,000, Alex. Now, I know.
Let that ride out, because that was important. And this is why this thing is serious, man. We sit back here and we talk about these things and stuff, man. We're HBCU alums. And we come from the movement, the spirit of the school. The schools were created because they wouldn't allow us to go to LSU zone, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. That's the reason why Jackson State was created. That's the reason why FAMU was created. How many normal schools of the color that you see in the title of many schools? So, man, you know, we sit back here and I hear people saying, well, you know what? If these players in the SEC would just boycott, so I got a better solution. How about all y'all that didn't vote? How about y'all do that? How about y'all go find somebody that y'all know in your own family that don't vote, or talking something crazy because of one situation? I'm not gonna get into it, but oh well, you know, I don't like this person because of this. Man, y'all gotta wake up, man. Because these folks been moving, and I try to explain this to people, but people majoring on the minor. They're focused on this. They focus on that. And you know what? Hey, listen, SWAC fan, hey, listen. I'm gonna tell you something. I would be all for this. But you know what? If you know what the thing about is, and you already seen it, because I seen Black folk. Well, you can't. This is what I'm talking about. How y'all don't know history, so you know what I heard? Well, you can't make the kids do that. The kids should. Hey, dummies! You know who was doing the civil rights movement? It was kids. It was college age kids.
Never heard of Smith.
How old y'all think the Greensboro 4 was?
You never heard of Smith?
John Lewis was.
Never heard of Snick.
Thank you. How old do you think the Freedom Riders were? You know why the kids in Alabama were let out of school? Because the people were smart. They said, okay, we know if we go on march, they're going to fire all us. You know what they did? They let the high school kids out. Because those kids did that, which is now your grandparents.
Hey, Steve, you know how old Emmett Till was?
I do know how old
Emmett. Hey, Steve, do you know how old Goodman, Chainer, and Schwerner was?
I do know.
So like, go look at me at Mike's comment, highlight that, because one has nothing to do with the other. See, Martin Luther King basically said, you know, a threat to justice, you know, anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Well, any issue that's going to affect the multitude of Black people in this country is a problem for all Black people in this country. So the issue is not to think that, oh, it's not as bad as this, so we don't need to. No, I, in my humble, most honest, raw thought process, think that all Black people need to be outraged at this moment and actually doing things to actually work as a collective, as a people right now. Because the very thought, because everything just starts with a spark, and it's out there now. It's out there now. And if somebody even mentioned something about repealing something that was put in for all of us, the thought of even having that revoked, I don't even want to conjure what that's going to look like in real life. And so the fact that that's even out there, and we're just like ho hum, and we want to still sit here and talk about goddamn Megan Thee Stallion and all this other dumb shit. And I'm like, man, we got people out here talking about repealing the 14th Amendment, everything, you know, that our ancestors and forefathers fought for the rights to even do the things that we're doing today is being challenged and fought against. And we're sitting here ho hum about all of it. I made the comment to Steve earlier, you know, I'm 47. I'll be 48 in September. So a lot of people in my generation and younger, been plenty of time. We've heard stories about the civil rights movement and our ancestors who fought the good fight, you know, got us all these advantages into society, right? And they would sit down and think, and they would say these things about, well, I ain't my grandparents, I ain't my great-grandparent, I ain't my ancestors. You know, we wouldn't deal with that. We wouldn't go through that. Well, guess what? If shit keep going the way it's going, we're going to put your mouth to the test. Because right now, as it stands, yeah, you're going to be right back in Jim Crow. Yeah, you may say it may not be exactly the same like it was in the 50s and 60s or the 40s, 50s, and 60s, but you're not at liberty to say exactly the way it is. And why in the hell would you even want to see what that feels like? So again, call to all Black people. We should be outraged as a unit right now at the thought that somebody's even thinking about repealing the 14th Amendment that affects every last one of us. To sit here and get discriminated on, have to deal with bigotry, and guess what? You can't do nothing about it. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. But now there's no outrage. We want to see her talk about damn Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and all this other bull jive. And I understand the whole idea of saying, yes, I can walk and chew bubble gum. I can do more than one thing at one time. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do nothing, but at the forefront of everything should be this right here. This is a major, major thing, bro. Like, I don't think people are alarmed at the totality, right, of everything that's going into play when you talk about Trump, Project 2025, all this bull job that's been going on. They've already repealed the Voting Act. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Now you're going to sit here and then now you're going to change the districts. The South, as we know, was already red. Now that you want to make it totally red on purpose. Like I say, they play in our face all day long, but we ain't outraged about it, Steve. Ho hum, we'll just make do. We'll be okay because we always be okay. You know what I'm saying? God don't play about us. Just because God don't play about you don't mean that you sit idle by and do nothing. Faith without works is dead. Like, we need to be outraged, and we ain't. We ain't. We still want to look. We still focus on damn trail rides and dealing with YNs. Like, literally, that's it. But as a people, as a whole, as a mass, we're not outraged about the shit that affects us. And now, for the first time in my lifetime, I can speak to my parents and my parents' parents, right? But I'm talking about in my lifetime, for the first time, like for real, we got things in place that's moving and churning to really, really affect us on so many different avenues. And I'm talking about all of us, not middle class Black folk or low class Black folk or the wealthy, right? Oh, I'm a Republican. I'm Black. I make money. All this shit Charles Barkley be saying. This shit gonna affect every last one of us, bro.
Well, let me say something. So Mike, a lot of respect for you. And I'm going to read this. Let's be real, not compare today's society to Jim Crow. Jim Crow was terrible and sparked the Great Migration. What we're facing now, another compare. Exactly. So I'm going to reverse it. So when Medgar Evers got killed in Jackson, Charles Evers, his brother, called Bill Russell. Now, a lot of y'all don't know, but Bill Russell at that time will be comparable with LeBron James is right now. Okay? So a star of this magnitude came to Jackson, Mississippi to help with the civil rights movement. And they feared the Boston Celtics did not want him to go. They said, they're going to kill you. They told him, you come out, we're going to kill you. I'm going to tell you a secret. Steph Curry and LeBron James ain't got to worry about that. So, yeah, it should be easier for you now to be an activist now. Because you don't have to worry about coming to the state of Mississippi and somebody stringing you up. They don't stringing LeBron James up. They don't stringing Steph Curry up. Giannis, all those guys, anybody, Dak Prescott. So it should be even easier to stand up. So that's my answer to that. So of course, so thank God that my grandparents, those grandparents, yours too, I'm not going to count anybody else, but I'm going to tell you for a fact, my folks was in that thing. And this is just crazy when we sit up here and acting like this is not important. Because I'm going to tell you something, I talked to a lawyer. And I broke this down. The next thing they're going to get is the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That's one of the ones that protect y'all when y'all walking around there. And you know how you go to your job and they have that little thing and they say they can't say crazy stuff to you. So you know what? I told one of my lawyer friends, I said, let me tell you how they're going to flip it. You working over there, Zoe, where you work. I ain't going to say where you work. And the white guy say, hey, Zoe, you my nigger. And he said, well, wait a minute now. I'm going to go to HR and report it. You know what he's going to do? He's going to go and say, listen, that wasn't no racial attack. I was just saying that being friendly. That's the term of endearment. I'm telling you, I've seen Jay-Z say it. And he's going to find some lawyer that takes that case. And they're going to win that case. And then what you going to do then? See, y'all need to wake up. See, you think I'm making that up? That's what they thought about. Oh, they'll never erase that. So let me tell you this about the 14th Amendment, why this is important, and also these districts. So you got Benny Thompson and Jackson. It's about having somebody represent. So if they take Benny Thompson, guess what? Jackson ain't gonna get nothing. All that money that y'all got when y'all was all happy when y'all got those COVID checks, you know who got that for you? Somebody black, because Alma Adams went to Nancy Pelosi and said, hey, oh, by the way, black folks need to get some of this money too. You think Nancy Pelosi gonna think about y'all? And don't tell me about the Republicans. I don't even want to hear that foolishness. Because they're the ones passing the law that's against you. So when they take these little districts that they've gerrymandered themselves and a racial representation, then who's gonna fight for you then? Who's gonna fight for you then? So man, listen, you all better, like I said, some of y'all say y'all went to HBCU, you better go to your I know you got most of y'all got black archives, you better go read up on your history because you're disappointed some of your ancestors that went to your schools. Hey, thank you. Ain't gonna get nothing. If it wasn't for Benny Thompson to fight tooth and nail. That's why this is important. So, I just had to put this out there, man, because we went to Jackson State, Southern, Florida A&M, Alabama State, North Carolina. Man, we're built from this. And if you don't honor that, then, man, you listen. Don't watch this show. We're going to talk about this. This is what we talk about.
Steve, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. This is going to be real. The real problem with black folk is, and I'm not talking about.
Wait a minute, bro. They had already done it. See, bro, stop it? See, come on, Mike. Now you know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give you my phone number. That's not what happened. See, that's what I'm saying. Louisiana had already filed the lawsuit. This was an action to it because really, who started this was the state of Texas. That started because Trump called his boy Wheelchair Robbie and said, "Find me some more seats." So come on, man. Now, Mike, you went to Morgan State, my brother. You know better.
Well, the true lunacy that comes is he actually thinks that it's two different teams.
Come on, Mike. Mike. Now,
the lunacy is
it's okay. But listen, just state that you Trump, and then I can respect. Then I respect. But I know you would listen, bro. I've heard you. So I'm telling you, this is the respect I give you. I listen to stuff you post. I know you are a very smart person, and I know that you love your school. But you are not going to come on here and say something like that, man. Come on now. I know you, bro. Or either that, man, or call it your boy. Because, man, you can't be using TikTok and Instagram for news. Come on now.
So, but I'm going to say this, though. The biggest problem, though, is black folk. And I'm going to say pretty much for the most part, probably my parents' generation on down to us and filter down through. The problem with black folk is we got complacent and got comfortable. Macro scale, not everybody, but from holistically, just the whole facet of it, right? We got complacent and got comfortable thinking that what our ancestors went through, that's long gone and that's never coming back, right? And we got complacent in there. That's the real thing in this, because again, yes, we have people fight on our behalf. Yes, we have people doing the work, but I'm talking about the overall, the law of averages, right? The macro of us. We got complacent, we got lazy, we got comfortable, and we got comfort in thinking that we won't see what we used to see ever again. You see what I'm saying? And the problem is it never went away, man. Nothing ever changed. Nothing stopped. It just morphed into a new way of doing business. And right now you're seeing everything coming in different facets, and yet we're here just chilling, laughing, got social media, like we're not acting like the things that we're dealing with is a real thing. James Baldwin said something, man, that I live with day to day. Me and my girl talk about it all the time, man. To be active and be conscious, and to be black, active and conscious with all the things that's affecting black people will have you the cause to be in a constant state of rage every day. But the problem is we disconnect from it, right? We really do, because hey, we desensitize with social media, all the good things and all the other things in life, right? And trying to find our way. But everything else that's going to actually mean working together and working out for our best interests, we just don't do it. Because I always say, man, slavery did a number on black folk, bro. And so that's my own thing. But right now, man, the way things are going right now, man, it ain't looking good. And it's not down one lane. It's down so many different lanes. People thought it was bull jive when they came out with Project 25. And, man, they hit every doggone pin.
I mean, it was so funny. It's so funny. They were so arrogant, as they said they put in the book. But you know what they say? If you want to hide something, put it in the book for certain people.
And see, they're hitting every point to the T.
Bruh.
And again, and look, I always say, if somebody's going so hard consistently, day in and day out, to remove the things that you got, remove the things that you want, deny you from what you want, I mean, they doing it for a damn reason. They're doing it for a reason. And we just sit here letting them do it. We're not putting them no resistance to none of it, man. And that's the problem that I have. Like, black people, we got to wake up, bro. We got to wake up. We got to make some changes like ASAP, because I'm telling you, if we don't, we looking at Jim Crow segregation again. And people think, well, I got this job. Man, that job could be taken from you.
I just gave you an example of what is going to happen and what you think. There will be no protection. I'll put this picture up real quick and then we'll move on from this. That's Bill Russell. And hey, with TBLs, that's what the name of the gym used to be, right? The old gym, TBLs zone.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the athletic director. And this is Russell Wilson's granddaddy. That was the basketball
Harrison Wilson.
Harrison Wilson. See, a lot of people don't know that. Down here, got them Rooster Jackson. So,
and Russell Wilson's dad was born on Jackson State's campus.
How about that? And, you know, 3 brothers from Kappa Alpha Psi standing up back in the day. So, man, listen, man, this is what I'm saying, man. Again, it should be easier now because the money, you know what? Again, when people say, well, what about, I heard somebody in one of the chats I'm in, well, what about the marketing? Bro, when you making, Jaylen Brown ain't got no marketing. Jaylen Brown got $500 million. He ain't got to worry about nothing. When you're making that much money, you don't have to fear anything. Come on, man. Shout out to Copod. That's right. Shout out one time. Copod, you know them, your frat brothers. Shout out to him. I had to pull it up. You know what I'm saying, man? Come on, man. So, like I say, this is the time where it should be easy. But guess what? You've been programmed. Because I'll tell you what, Zo, when I was an agent, the funniest thing was when those white agents would tell those black players, hey, man, you just don't want to get into that, man. You don't want to get in that. I heard white agents tell black players that all the time. All the time. You don't want to get into that. And they're doing the same thing with the kids from the SEC. You don't want to get into that. Because what if I heard, well, you don't want to mess your NIL money up. You don't want to mess your NIL money up. So you let them, everything. We're going to take good care of you over here. You know, it's
Hold on. We're going to take good care of you over here while you're here.
How about that?
While you're here.
Say that for the people in the back.
We're going to take good care of you while you're here. We'll be good to you here while you're here. But as soon as you leave, you're going to fit in the bill with the rest of them.
Well, let me tell you what I mean by that. When I say protect you, man, listen, I'm saying this. I'm talking about, you cannot compare. I'm using Miyagi Mike's comparison. Bill Russell went to the Delta where they were talking about they were going to lynch him. Ain't nobody lynching LeBron James or Jaylen Brown. That ain't happening. That's disrespectful for you to, and I'm not saying FBS 50, but I'm saying to compare the two, it's not. Nobody's lynching LeBron James. Stop it. Let's not be stupid. Okay? Bill Russell had a death threats where we knew they would lynch you. Point blank facts. This was 1963. They shot Medgar Evers in the head and didn't even blink. The white man said he did and didn't even laugh. Didn't even laugh about it. And they knew he did it, and they didn't convict him. Come on, man. Don't compare that. So I'm
talking about came into a super dense black neighborhood.
Look, thank you, Presidential Hills. Hello. So like I say, so man, listen. So anyway, with that being said, man, only reason why, man, listen, this show is important for a couple of reasons. Me and Zoe doing it. We're from Jackson. It's important. We do it because, man, we appreciate y'all watching because this is Sippin on Sundays on a Monday, Off Script Network. Rocky Metal Channel, man. But everybody, man, we ain't talking about no dumb graphics that are loud and wrong. We, like I say, we ain't right here talking about putting your school down because for whatever reason, that's what you think is cool, man. We are about here uplifted. So we're gonna give y'all a little something of education and we're gonna have a little bit of fun. Now, Zoe, we're gonna move on to the fun side of the show before we close it on out. Because there's something that happened that I get to talk ish about. Because guess what? Florida and them women win his first SWAC softball tournament title. And you know what, my people from Southern, you know who we beat? We beat up Southern Jaguar to win that thing. So, now I know you remember it was a very, very tenuous playoff last year between Jackson State and FAMU.
Mm-hmm.
And your coach, boy, man, your coach, man, disrespectful. Talk about this is his house. But guess what? It's FAMU's house right now. It's FAMU's house right now. And we beat Southern. And wait a minute, who did y'all lose? Did Southern beat y'all? Southern, did y'all get Jackson State up out of there? Because I think y'all got them up out of there. Yeah, shout out to the Lady Rattlers. You know what I'm saying? But, man, shout out to softball. But you know what, though? This is really for my Prairie View folks. Because they said, oh, Mr. Cameron, we winning this. Southern said, get up out their tournament. Jackson State said, get up out their tournament. And FAMU showed you once again what we do. So, hey, man, that's why I try to tell you, we champions. Hey, listen. And I'm going to tell you something. Shout out to SWAC TV. Because, again, I ain't watched softball ever in my life, bro. FAMU barely beat the weak West number 2 play Southern. Well, I tell you what, we won. We won. Y'all won. And you know, that's disrespectful that you're talking about, bro. Did you watch softball? Y'all jokers, like, I don't think lost at home. Some crazy stat. Come on, man. Stop it.
Hey, he's about beating the second best West team. I mean, since the COVID year, the West has only had 2 championships won. All the rest of them have been in the East.
But that's what I'm saying. You know what? That's Prairie View fault. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Tell the Prairie View why they can't stand up.
And Prairie View won those back to back. But ever since then, it's been Jackson State, to FAMU.
Man, like, come on, man. Come on, man. So listen, shout out, man. Listen, you know, we had to get back on that brag different. That's what we do. You also are back. So, man, listen, shout out to my Lady Rattler. Shout out to Coach Bill. Trying to get on the coach's corner. We'll see what happens. I know she's real busy. But shout out to those Florida A&M Rattler, man, because this is really what this is about, man. You know, teams and stuff. With that being said, hey, I got to talk about this baseball, though, real quick, too. And hey, man, baseball, I want to just look at these standings because FAMU had went on a losing stretch. We had lost 6 in a row. But then I saw a team creeping up. And I want to see what you guys' opinion. I don't know how much you guys will follow baseball. But this is the baseball standings going into, I think, this is probably what the last week, probably almost close to last week, ain't it so? Should be. Mm-hmm. So you got Bethune-Cookman, conference record 21-6. Southern, which is second, I guess, because of percentage points, 17-7. A&M, we got 2 more wins, but 1 more loss. So really, we should be second place. Alabama State 17-10, Grambling 17-10, Texas Southern in the conference 15-9, Arkansas Pine Bluff 15-20. This is a down year for Jackson State baseball. 14-13, Valley 8-19, Prairie View 7-18, Alabama A&M, and Alcorn 3-21. Alcorn never been a strong baseball team. But I'm gonna tell you this, man. This baseball tournament is going, you know, Bethune-Cookman has got a lot of out-of-conference wins, big SEC wins. But I tell you one thing, you better come to play. Because just like that softball tournament, none of that matters in the tournament of SWAC tournament. So, man, we're really going to be excited. We're going to cover the baseball. We'll try to get some coaches on HBCU Coaches Corner and tell you, yeah, bro. Well, y'all suffering down there. They suffering down there, man. I was like, come on, man. What is going on with Alcorn baseball, man? So it's just like, man, that is crazy. So last thing before we get out of here. I did see one other little thing that, as I like to say, what the white folks doing? How they getting money? So I saw this. So the University of North Texas, though, they done put out how they about to go raise money. So I saw these graphs, and I want to just share this because this is, once again, I think sometimes you just should copy what people are doing. So this is pretty interesting what I saw. And this guy, I think he's a sports reporter now. So he made this post. Athletic department, let me make this bigger, in America are increasingly acting like public-facing businesses. University of North Texas' new strategic plans on another example of that. They are openly, now listen, and this is the reason why I want to read this. Hello, HBCUs. They are openly talking about donor goals, attendance benchmarks, premium seating expansion, operating budgets, marketing ROI, and even quarterly asks to AD town hall. How many times we had an AD town hall? Just simple as that. Donor goals. attendance benchmarks. And this is the bigger quote. People are more comfortable giving money when they actually understand where the program is trying to go and feel connected to the people leading it. So you know what that means? You give money to people that you like and respect. Not that you just send an email out and say, donate to the Tiger Fund, the Jaguar Fund, the Rattler Fund, the Brave Fund, the Panther Fund, the Fun Fund, and the No Fund. The relationship between fans and athletic department feel way more direct now than it did. So this is what they're doing. So I'm pull up their little chart, which I thought was pretty dope. Competitive excellence and championship culture. Resource investments. Position all sports operating budget in the top third of the American Conference by the fall. So again, being the top. Benchmark and align coaching staff compensation with conference leaders. Hey, if you want to have good teams, you got to pay the coaches. On-field success. Minimum, and just think of if you were held to this, though, if coaches were held to this. Minimum of 2 conference championships annually. Secure top 5 conference finishes in 70% of sponsored sports. Achieve a 150 lift field director cup. Championship culture people. Embed the UNT system, values, and Gallup engagement principles across strategic departments. Elevate the department Gallup score, which I don't know what it is. I got to look that up. And expand star performer recognition program and department-wide base value. So basically, the people that work for them, we're going to get them involved and we're going to give them awards. So the next thing that they came with was this. Stakeholder engagement, talking about the alums. Transform every fan, alumnus, student, and community member into an active and engaged stakeholder. Letter winning legacy engagement. Conduct 100 in-person letter winner visits annually. I guess would be their people that donate money. Grow athletic network membership to 3,600 members and letter winner association active members. Maybe this is the former players. Maybe that's what this is. Launch the Mean Green for Life mentorship program, connecting current. See this right here. Listen to this. Now think about the HBCUs right here.
Yep.
I love this. Launch the Mean Green for Life mentorship program, connecting current and former student athletes for professional development and support by the spring. Just think if Jack State had this. FAMU, Prairie View, Southern. Where you're a football player, and our former football players, basketball players who are doing great, because we see them all the time doing a great job, and you're going to come back and you're going to mentor a guy. Let's just say you're a quarterback, I'm going to come back and mentor all the quarterbacks. You're a point guard, I'm going to mentor all the point guards, just as a starter. This is what I'm talking about when you think on how to build that connectivity. Because, if you go to those old players, guess what they'll start doing? They'll invest money. Campus and community integration. Increase average student attendance, football, 7,000, men's basketball, 1,000, women's basketball. Every team compete one campus and community service project annually. Go to the campus and get the people, the students to come to your games. Establish a permanent campus activation team and a new on-campus marketing student engagement plan by the fall. Again, marketing to the people that are right on campus. Because guess what? The students pay to come to the games. Participate in at least 4 student organization events and gather on campus. Elite game day experience. Achieve second stadium sellout. Add premium seating. How many of our schools got premium seating? Integrate emerging technology to enhance game production and fan, like making sure that all the stadiums have Wi-Fi. That would be pretty smart, don't you think? Install new LED lights. And fam, you got them LED lights. And then once again, this big thing, Corley asked the AD. So you know what? So the ADs won't be all upset when we have shows like this. And people say, why are you not doing this? And then the AD go, well, I ain't coming on that show because they talk about, hey, bro, how about this? Come on the show and let's have that town hall. Like they do we do on HBC Coaches Corner. So the ADs, man, don't hide behind the email. Because the people support the school. Come on, man. And the last thing right here, and that last slide, is my favorite thing. Revenue generation. How are we going to make some money, Zoe? Philanthropy and major gifts. Reach 3,000 total donors. Now, mind you, 3,000 shouldn't be anything for any HBCU. Reach 1.8 million in Mean Green Scholarship Fund donations. That's not a lot of money. It's really with 3,000 people. Secure 18 million in commitments for athletic career expansion. If we just change the name from North Texas to FAMU, this would be a hell of a plan. Change this to Jackson State. Ticket revenue increase, 2.5 million. Grow outside event and facility run. hey, y'all rent the vet out, y'all having concerts and stuff like that. Why are we not doing this all over? We got these big facilities. Why are we not renting them out, having concerts and all these different things?
Spartacus Jackson State doesn't have a light bill. That's not why they're playing night games, dog. Jackson State's playing all their games in September at night.
Yeah, they are.
So it's one thing to talk. You got, man, at least come right, man. If you don't know what you're talking about, man, just leave the jokes alone. It had nothing to do with why Jackson were playing night games. They're doing them now. So it had nothing to do with a light bill at all.
Sparky must be an all-core guy. Hey, increase ticket revenue by 2.5 million. Grow outside of that, what I just said. License and royalty revenue. Again, Scotty actually talked about this. We have Hall of Famers, superstars, that we should be selling jerseys. We should be making videos that should be shown these great games that if we can find them, showing those, marketing these people, bringing them back, having them sign the autographs, enhance multimedia rights and structure match top third, increase the average attendance to 26,000 in football. So again, increase the intent. What do we have to do to get people in the building?
Let me check this out. I even mentioned this a while back, years ago. You know, Walter Payton passed in 1999.
Yep.
Right. And we had things going on, you know what I'm saying, with some of the Hall of Famers, but it was a dream of mine after the fact, you know, were to try to get the rest, you know, because we still could have Jared, you know, in his dad's place, or Eddie, because, you know, Eddie's his brother. He's, you know, still affiliated with Jack State as well as an alum. Get Eddie Payton to fill in his place and then get the other three. Do you know that I want to say it was since, I believe, 1996. Walter Payton passed away in 99. From then until he passed, man, we were the only school in the country that could actually have a live-in to have 4 Hall of Famers presented at a game. And for whatever reason, we just never thought about it. We dropped the ball. I'm like, you had that, you could have did that. And so, honestly, believe it or not, since once I started, I think this was 2018 or 2019, when I really, really wanted to get all the 3 remaining Hall of Famers
right
to a game. It was hard on Jack to get Jackie Slater because Jackie Slater was still doing something affiliated with the Rams.
Right.
So no season's going on. But man, do you know what that looked like to actually have 3 Hall of Famers, living Hall of Famers from your institution, you know, to present them out at the field in pregame? What that would have been like, man. You know, you're talking about Rob Brazile, who's there often a lot. Rob Brazile, Lynn, excuse me. I just drew a damn blank. What's my guy from Detroit? Lim Barney, who's got feeling kind of ill here lately within the last year. But you had Lim Barney, who started the number 20. You got Rob Brazile and Jackie Slater still alive. You can actually have them, bro. And again, I would always say that's another recruiting thing that you could actually use. We talk about it, but they're alive right now. They can come. They could be here. They see Robert Brazile, you know, he's there. But I'm like, man, Jackie Slater is one of the greatest old linemen ever played. Played 20 years with one team. Block for Eric Dickerson. I mean, he can get Eric Dickerson to come for a game. Like, you have that type of cachet to do those types of things, and yet we drop the ball and we just don't do it. And that's what I mean, to your point that you were just bringing up. It's like, man, we have things available to us that we're not utilizing. We're not brandishing to really maximize, you know, all the things available to us to grow what we have or to make what we have better, to bring in or deepen the coffers that we have. You know what I'm saying? You know, because here's the thing. Jackson State has potentially 2 other Hall of Famers that we could possibly get. We could possibly get Jimmy Smith in on the senior ballot and Harold Jackson on the senior ballot. Agent 00 Soul. And if you get both of those guys in, that'll have Jackson with 6 Hall of Famers. You know, and now you're talking about what, 5 alive right now. All right, you know, but again, it's things like that, bro. That's my point. You have these things available to you, and we're not utilizing them. You know, so that's my only thing.
Well, let me throw some. What North North Texas State made this public. They're letting you know what we're doing. And I want to go back, and I'm going to say this quote one more time, because I think this is what's important. And I think this is where we as HBCUs fail. And this is, I'm going to pull this up because I want to make this point again. People give money, and if somebody who fundraises and knows how hard it is, but again, I'm going to make this real big. So for all my SWAC folks, look at this. White man trying to tell y'all, people are more comfortable giving money when they actually understand where the program is trying to go and feel connected to the people leading it. We'll say that for the people in the back. So we should not wonder when we're raising money, how the money's going to get spent. We should know the plan. Don't say, just give me money. Tell me why you give me money. We're smart. Because, you know, if you tell me you get money, you know what I might be able to do? Hey, you know what? Hey, my cousin is the vice president over at Home Depot. He went to FAMU. Let's get him on board. Oh, wait a minute. We need muscle milk. We need Gatorade. Hold on. You know, such as graduate, he's the vice president of Pepsi, because we know what the plan is. And that is what's so important. They put the plan out there for you to look at it, analyze it, and say, this is what we're going to do. With understandable benchmark that, you know what, 90% of those benchmarks, I would say at least the top tier SWAC schools could hit every one of those benchmarks. Every one of them. And it's all written down and all understood. But if I go to each individual school, and not to say they're not working, see, this is the thing about it, and I want to be clear because I got respect and I know it. I know FAMU's working on stuff. I know Jack State's working on stuff. I know Gramblin's working. But my point of it is, what they're saying is, when you're transparent and you let people know, they're more likely to give you money. So if out of anything that you take for that white boy presentation, take that. We should have a Tiger Road to Success presentation. And Ashley Robinson, smooth ass, present that. And not just, again, not just to the little core people, not to the Tiger Fund, and not to the alumni, to everybody. Because I'm going to tell you a secret. I call myself part of the street alumni. I purposely have not joined certain things because I don't want to be beholden to certain things. So, but you know what? That's why I'm able to get stuff done. I'm not part of certain things on purpose, but I give them money because if I need to get in the dirt, I ain't getting the dirt. But one thing about it, ain't no camel gonna give you that money. But guess what? I go to the street committee. I go to people that don't even know what the Booster Club doing. I say, hey, man, we need to get this money. Oh, Steve, you say, what's going on? And I explain to you, all right, what's the link? You know how many people say, hey, well, Steve, what's the link? I give some. I ain't never gained none, but you say it's cool. I know you. And you're talking about the Paul Browns, Ashley Robinsons, 80 Golfs, big time people that people respect. Travion Scotts, whoever the 80 down there Southern. Come on, them Southern people gonna help you out. They raising money now, but there are so many people on the sideline that we're not even touching with money. It goes back to the football games, though. Y'all put 30,000 people in there, and I guarantee you, if you really figured out a way, you could get $1 out of all 30,000 of them. If y'all say, give me a dollar, bro, program, and they knew what that dollar was gonna go to, y'all would get $30,000 every game just from 30,000 jokers coming in there. Trust me, I've done it. But this is what they're talking about. People need to understand what you're going to be doing. You gotta explain it. So that's what I'm saying, man. You know, it's just really interesting that when I see white schools doing things that we can easily copy, because man, there ain't no new ideas though. When everybody say they got a new idea, they lie. They saw somebody else. And then they do a little bit better. So yeah, it could work, man. So that's what we got tonight. So that's what we got, man. So listen, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you, man, and everything. I want to kind of give a heads up. So we're not gonna do no sipping on Sunday, Memorial Day weekend. That's 2 weekends away. And then I got to go to a graduation. We might have to do it on Monday. But we are gonna be doing some shows, keeping up. So when is it? Because what's the countdown to the wedding?
August 1st.
August. Okay. We got a little time. And then Zoe got to check out a couple of weeks before that. So, man, listen, we really appreciate you all, man. And I'm going to tell you something, man. I do want, hold on one second. Why is this doing this? Because I do want to leave y'all with something that this brother from Memphis, Tennessee, Justin Pearson, talked to these folks. because I'm gonna close it out like this. I'm gonna let y'all hear this, brother. Because man, I want y'all to feel the fight that we in, man. Because we are in a fight, my brothers.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So man, listen, we're gonna close out with Brother Justin Pearson here. Hey man, it's Sipping on Sundays. Zoe Phillips, Mr. Campbell, man. We appreciate y'all so much, man, for being here. And I'm gonna let my brother Justin Pearson close this thing out. Man. Let me get this up. And then y'all take your time and listen to what we got going on here.
Was reading my Bible early this morning, asking God why this is happening. Why, again, does it seem that white supremacy is seeming to gain? Why, again, does it seem like the pillars of pain that we have felt and experienced for over 400 years in this country continue to rise again? And whispered in the words of this Bible and in the words of those ancestors that have gone before us is just these simple words: we're still here. We are still here. This nation, this state has legislated and legalized the worst things in humanity, including our enslavement, and we are still here. Right in this country where, as one black woman said, your clancestors enslaved us, denied us of our rights, called us 3/5 of a person, and yet we are still here. You put us on cotton plantations and tobacco plantations. You denied our human rights and our right to exist as children of God, and we are still here. You destroyed Tulsa. You killed and lynched black folks on Poplar Tree. Shelby County, Tennessee had the most lynchings of anywhere in this state where you're taking this district, and we are still here. You've had 3 strikes laws, mass incarceration, denied us of who we are, and we are still here. And today you'll take the only majority black district from us. But I want you to know, and I want my nephew, sons, and the future to know, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and break us and make us bend and make us quit, we will still be here.